What happened?
The only horror movies that bother me is like I don't find that like really supernatural stuff like really
We are
scary.
live.
Like the thing that scares me is when it can just be anybody. Like I feel like I don't have to be scared to enjoy a horror movie, but I feel like I'm more intimidated when it's something that's more on the psychological thriller side. I don't find horror.
M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't find like gore scary at all. I just find it humorous and fake as hell.
The gore the gore is fun. I mean, like in a horror movie, like the Evil Dead movies, that's just fucking awesome. Those are great.
I don't even know if I consider like Evil Dead horror, but I do like it.
They're considered horror, but they also are classified under comedy. But it's a comedy horror. I'm just like, that's fucking great.
Honestly, the movie that scared me, and it didn't scare anybody else, is I hated The Strangers. And the reason why is it really made me feel for a while like no matter how much I locked my doors and windows, like somebody could always get in. I was like paranoid for like a month after, and I don't know why, because I think it's because the movie's so subtle in the beginning. Like because like people like he's just standing there watching her eat fucking ice cream. He's like the guy's in the house and there's no sound. It's just literally her munching ice cream. And I'm like, fucking hell, this is terrifying actually. Like I don't know why it like bothers me so much, but I just don't like home invasion movies. Like those are the ones that bother me the most. I feel like I can't stand having that like paranoia of like, fuck, did I lock my doors? Did I lock my windows?
It's funny. Michael Moore did one of his documentaries. I think it was, I forgot if it was Bowling for Columbine or Fahrenheit 9/11, but he goes to Canada and he's like, Canadians are so not paranoid. He literally walks into several houses because they all leave their doors unlocked. They don't care. He walked into a few Canadians' houses. They're home and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm like, and he's dumbfounded, like, wait, what? He goes, I walked in your house. Like, yeah. And I think one of them literally offered him a beer. I was laughing.
I live in one of the worst places in Texas. And in fact, an actual highlight of my city is last year, the police force wanted a pat on the back because they got it down to only 10 murders in 3 months. And I was just, they wanted a fucking pat on the back for that. Like, that was some big achievement. Like, there shouldn't be that many fucking murders at all.
Las Cruces is turning into its own mini version of LA. I grew up in LA, Rodney King riots. I mean, that kind of tension. And Las Cruces, the police release the crime statistics every quarter. And Grand Theft Auto has jumped 300% from this time last year. Murders have jumped 120%. I'm like, Jesus, Mary and Joe. I don't think we've had 10 murders in 3 months, but they've had like 17 murders this year so far, which is like basically a new record. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Like every week I'm reading a story that they found a dead body. I'm like, what?
Around here it's been we've had just shootings that have been pretty much back to back. And we just had a stabbing tonight. So it's been
by the way, folks, welcome to Super Geeks, our pre-show. Ross will be joining us back in a bit. Don't mean to be a Debbie Downer today. We're just talking about our latest crime stories.
Welcome to the Real Super Geeks, where we do our murder pre-show. Thank you for joining us.
You love murder documentaries on Netflix. Welcome to the Super Geeks.
You're here, which means you're not a statistic. Congratulations.
You didn't die today. That was good.
Party's over. Party's over.
What do you mean party's over? Who's here?
Party's over.
And
that is that's the most intimidating buffering bar I've ever seen.
Right?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Oh my god, that just works so well.
Don't worry, Super Geek fans. It's not your video. It's just our host Ross is having issues with his connection. Oh man. So Reina, overall, what did you think of in terms of season opener?
Fucked.
Series openers versus DS9's Emissary versus TNG's Encounter at Farpoint. How do you feel about those two?
I feel DS9 had a way starter opening. Like it was way better. There's no comparison. Like when I was watching that, like I think I even told Travis this. Like I was not sure I was going to stick around with TNG. Like I thought this may not be for me. It wasn't until like a few episodes in that it started getting like attaching me. Like DS9 like starts so perfectly right off the bat. Like there I didn't feel a moment where I was disinterested. I liked the whole cast right away. They're definitely more memorable and unique than the TNG cast, and I hate to say it. Like they in the short time that we were presented to them versus like TNG, like I feel like they all have unique traits that separates them where like I feel like originally in TNG before they kind of got their footing on what they wanted to do, it felt like you could easily replace like even Worf, you wouldn't have even noticed he was gone in the first season.
Pretty much that's how it was.
Tasha Yar, like her death was sad, but it's kind of like she was like replaceable by literally anybody in that crew.
Well, Dax was going to be around for a while before that happened. So I mean, even then, that's felt. That's like
One of the original casting lists for TNG showed, I believe, Marina Sirtis as Tasha. I think Denise Crosby went for Riker as commander.
yeah.
The original casting
Riker
call
was
list was
spelled
great.
Ryker.
Yes, Riker was spelled with an RY, but because of the comparisons to the prison in New York, they changed it.
Let's see, what was the other one? Picard was originally not going to be, and it was going to be somebody else. They wanted somebody with hair.
Yeah, but
that's one of the age old stories in Star Trek that Patrick Stewart and Gene Roddenberry. Patrick Stewart was not on Gene Roddenberry's short list for Picard at all, so he was really miffed when Patrick Stewart got the job. But we're all grateful.
like
Sorry, Randy. I was going to point this out with TNG. I think you'll see this if you go back and watch interviews with Gene Roddenberry when TNG was coming out. There's Picard, Riker, and Wesley were actually all supposed to be versions of Gene. Wesley was supposed to be his younger self. Riker was his not middle age, but then his fun years, his coming up years, and then Picard was his older, wiser self. Gene came out and said that Picard, Riker, and Wesley were basically based off of him in a sense when he created the characters.
Hello, son.
son.
So Picard, Wesley, and Riker are all based off of Gene Roddenberry?
That was yeah.
Okay. So the Wonderkind, the Lady Killer, and the Diplomatic Old Man. Got it.
Man,
Sounds like a single man's life.
Just saying,
don't tell the faithful.
Riker can command my bridge anytime he wants.
Oh god damn it!
Oh, and you will be seeing Riker turning up in DS9. Very
what?
Next
right.
2 seasons.
Yeah, no, shut up, Justin. You will see Riker once in DS9. Season 3 or 4, he's in there.
It's after they get to define. It's actually
Shut up, Justin. Shut up, Justin. Let her. We've said too much.
I'm not saying when. I'm
Shut,
not saying
Justin,
what.
Justin. Even I am telling you, shut up. And I mean it. Shut the hell up.
No.
But yeah, if you like DS9 now, then you're gonna love the rest of the show.
So you finished the Q episode, yes?
Yeah.
So you got past that, yeah.
He wasn't really all that much in that episode, was he?
No, not at all. But you know what?
Oh no.
I'm such a sucker for Q though.
He was more of a background character in this episode, in the DS9 episode than ever, really. He's just kind of like hanging in the background, whispering in people's ears, like, hey,
There's a lot more Q in Voyager.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, my favorite scene, though, in that whole thing wasn't even, like, really, like, with Q saying anything. I just love when O'Brien realizes it's Q, and he's like, oh, hell. He's just like, come on.
Because technically O'Brien was there for almost all of TNG with Q, so it's like, really? Again, Q?
I just love how Q is like, Oh wait, who are you again? Oh right, you were that guy.
One of the little people.
Hey, I was gonna let Ross. Oh, there he
Hey,
is.
look, there he is.
There he is. He has a face.
Is
Wait.
this with the new router as well?
No, no.
Okay.
He hasn't had time to install it yet.
Okay.
Not Tuesday yet.
Don't tell me. Tuesday.
Generation show.
Yes,
Yeah,
Justin. I think
yeah.
Son knows that.
Yeah, son, I did end up watching Generations as well, and
Oh.
yeah, did not like
He
it.
does not like Captain Kirk.
Oof,
You
I'm not big on that. No.
you might like Insurrection better.
Oh dear.
It felt like the world's longest episode of TNG, where I felt like I rolled my eyes, like my muscle. I probably have muscles on my eyelids right now from how much I was rolling my eyes.
Wait until
Here. I'll turn Rain off of Insurrection right now. Riker shaves his beard.
in a hot
That
tub.
that could get me to leave the podcast. Don't say that.
But there's a hot tub. scene.
Even Russ is like, yeah. No.
Ross was
There's a-
frozen the entire time.
Yeah, Ross was frozen.
Raina,
No.
there's a hot tub scene.
Wait, what?
Oh God, no, Justin. Oh dear, you said it.
In the
I
There's-
didn't, I
this
didn't
movie's a
say
10
who.
out of 10.
I
10 out of
didn't
10.
say who. I didn't say who.
in the
Uh-oh.
in the grand scheme of knowing of knowing kind of what Raina likes at this point, kind of, I think she'll like Insurrection a lot better.
Probably. Considering
Generations?
what
Oh, yeah,
they
most
were
likely.
within it. Yeah. Like
And
it,
yet, almost every other person in the fandom says it's the opposite way around. And it's like, no, I kind of like Insurrection better than Generations. Generations is fun for like the cerebral road trip, but it's slow. The motion picture is faster than Generations, and that's with like 3 minutes of fucking shit porn at the beginning.
Honestly, like with Generations, how I feel is like the beginning was interesting to me, where they were showing off the Enterprise D and kind of that whole temporal anomaly. And then they went into like the TNG stuff, and it was like, this is happening.
Uh-oh,
Let
Ross
us go.
Ross went mobile.
And you know, they
considering my PC decided not to cooperate.
Yeah, we are laughing
Oh.
at the Circle of Doom.
Right, the Circle of Doom.
So basically, where I got pissed off is like right after that opening. Then they went into the TNG bit, which it was like, all right, it's fun, you know, yay, you know, Worf's getting promoted. But then it was like, this is happening. Let's go talk to this person to find out what's going on. Let us go talk to this next person to get more context on this. Let's go talk to and I'm like, oh my God, this is the world's fucking longest episode of TNG I've ever seen. And it just keeps like, I think I got to like an hour in the movie. I'm like, this movie's still fucking going. Like I was like, I had to pause it just to see the time frame. And I'm like, oh my God.
So wait a minute. So here's one of those weird continuity questions.
Mm-hmm.
What was Worf being promoted to?
Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty sure he was Lieutenant Commander while he was on the Enterprise.
What?
No, he was lieutenant. He was lieutenant junior grade, then full lieutenant, all the way through All Good Things, and then he was promoted to lieutenant commander in Generations.
And then promoted to commander later on.
And also, like, can I just say that another thing that annoys me is the whole, I want you to sit here and fucking cook these eggs while I debate if I want to help you or not. And it's like, bitch, we got shit to do. Let's go. Get in the car. We got places to go.
But that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the Nexus. Anything can happen for as long as it wants to happen, or for as long as you want it to happen.
Here's something
Which
to
is
chew
why,
on, Raina.
which is why so many people
Why am I
think
adjusting my microphone? I don't need it.
which is why so many people think like the Picard series is Picard still in the Nexus.
That's
I was
Ross
just
was
about
telling
to say,
me.
well, not just the Picard series, but pretty much all the TNG movies. Since they're also Picard-centric and Picard action hero-centric.
No,
First Contact is Picard hero-centric, sure. But Insurrection and Nemesis, yeah. I mean, they're action.
Insurrection was absolutely Picard-centric hero. And Insurrection? I mean, Nemesis? Nemesis was completely Picard-focused. Everyone else was an afterthought.
Son, where I was done with this movie, just so you know, because I told the guys this, where I was done is when the Enterprise was being attacked, and they did at least 70 goddamn shots of that bridge exploding in slow motion. And I'm like, this is excessive as hell. Like,
Well,
no
because they
way.
never showed the bridge getting damaged.
I do gotta say, Riker's terrified face as they crash into the planet was just like, oh my god, he was like holding on for dear life. I was like, Jesus, this is intense. Like, Deanna's crying. Worf is like contemplating his life existence right now. It's like, Jesus, this is intense.
Tell me you didn't shed a tear though when Data found Spot in the wreckage.
Poor Ross.
Yeah.
I felt like I was like, what? Oh, dude, that was like the happiest moment out of that whole movie. That was the best thing about that movie. Like, I felt like I was watching the end of Homeward Bound.
You know what's fucked up about it? That's not even the same damn Spot. They changed Spots more times than one. The one-time Spot was a female.
No, yeah, Spot. Just said sorry. Yeah, they changed Spot so many times. Spot is referred to a male and female at least 2 different times throughout the series. It's freaking hilarious.
Actually, I couldn't. Yeah.
And then actually in season 7 in Genesis, what you saw, Spot was a female clearly because she's pregnant.
Yep.
No, but what they did to my boy Data, I swear they hulked him like in Endgame. Like, I swear that's what it felt like. Like, what did you do?
Oh, he got an emotion chip.
Data finally reached his final form.
Oh God.
You know what? Final Form would assume that he was something glorious. That was like a Windows update downgrade.
That was Windows 7 to Windows Vista.
That was Windows XP.
It gets worse.
Windows 8.
Later on, he can turn the emotion chip off, and then in Insurrection, he's able to take it out of his brain. He just doesn't take it with him when he goes on side
love how
mission.
that lesson is, I'm going to learn to live with this. Okay, I really don't like this. Third movie, fuck this.
Because this doesn't
Well,
spoil
that
it.
Picard suggests he deactivates his emotion chip, and he does right before a fight.
Oh, that's First Contact, yeah.
Yeah, he goes.
Yeah.
Data's just experiencing anxiety. Picard's like, Data, I'm sure it's fascinating, but I would be grateful if you just deactivate your emotion chip. He's all done.
If only we could all do that.
Mr. Data, sometimes I envy you.
Yep. I'll say this. I know this. I know this pissed off Travis. I don't know who this. Access manual steering column.
Oh, fucking God. Why?
Riker's joystick.
Yes, Randy, you can see Riker's joystick eventually.
I've got that photo.
I have a feeling it's not the joystick I actually want to see, but okay. Throw me scraps here, all right.
I mean, if you want to use it to play MechWarrior, it's definitely the joystick you want to see.
I mean, it is a Gravis analog, so I mean, you know, I think I used to tell that joystick by the heart. They used to have
Also,
one.
how the hell did Cameron, that dork from Ferris Bueller, become a captain?
Captain
Well,
John Harriman.
He's not very well liked because you know everything come in on Tuesday and he's the one that's known to kill Kirk.
It's like that had to have been the last Starship Shakedown cruise without being fully staffed and stocked because
here's the unbelievable thing about all of that. You're telling me that out of Earth Space Dock, just a few minutes away from the Terran system, from Sol, you're telling me that there were no other ships whatsoever that could have responded and reacted to that distress signal other than a ship making a lazy tour through the solar system.
Yep.
That's how it is in Trek. I'm sure Raina's noticed that there's always just the one ship in the sector.
Not in Kelvin.
The heart of the Federation, one ship. Right.
That's one thing that the Kelvin films, the 09 film, did right, was that there was a whole flotilla at Earth ready to respond.
Well, you know what? That's what makes me laugh. Like, even at DS9, when the Cardassians are like, where the fuck is our ship? We're going to blow this place up. And it's like, how far is the Enterprise? Oh, it's the only ship and it's 20 hours away. It's like, dude, this is a Federation base. Where the fuck is everybody?
It's a Federation base on the outskirts. DS9 is on the frontier. There's nothing there.
Ross, I get that, but they just established this fucking station. That would be all the much more reason to reinforce it. It's like when you have a security crew saying, "We do not have the torpedoes, we do not have the shields. Let's make them fucking believe we have it." Like, are you serious right now? We're gonna improv our way through this conflict. It did work. And you know
the
what?
only thing that was missing from that scene was Riker, because that was a fucking poker face.
Right.
I need to... Raina, keep in mind what they did in that pilot to fool the Cardassians, because it's going to come up again.
And again. And again.
No. It's just going to come up once, and because it does, it's glorious.
I do need to say that I told Travis, like, right when I started it, I'm like, I'm not really feeling Kara. But when she was like, you know what, fuck this, we don't have nothing, come down here and face it. It was like, oh shit, I love this woman already, man. She ain't taking no shit from these guys.
No, Kara takes no shit.
Either. Oh, am I missing all the fun DS9 talk?
No.
She became that fun character that was like, 1v1 me, bruh.
Yeah, she gets a whole lot more likable by season 2.
No, not only that though, Brandon. The whole series, she is 1v1 me, but she gets more caring, but she has that 1v1 me attitude the entire series.
I will say that I did text him. I'm like, wait a minute, what are they called? The Trill? I was like,
yes,
they're space slugs. I want to be a space slug. Do you know how fucking cool that is? Like when I saw that episode, I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh yeah, they like work off of each other. There's the being and then there's the host. I'm like, that's fucking cool. I want to be a space slug. Do you know how awesome that would be? I'm just saying.
Randa, do you want to be the slug or do you want to be the host? There's a question for you.
No, she wants to be the slug because obviously she gets to live for thousands of years.
Dude, like, that is like some kinky level
I should have had a gift ready for that, Ross.
Like volunteering for that
position.
position. Like,
ready for that.
I want to be a vessel. And
I missed the opportunity.
I just hope Raina doesn't wind up being the Slurm Queen.
Well,
that's not the kind of slug you want to be.
No. The hosts live on too within the symbionts.
True, the memories carry on.
Their memories, their experience, the essence of who they are, they live on.
Oh my God, Ross, your audio.
He's from a phone, that's why. His computer's
acting on my phone, that's why. No. Because my PC is deciding that it's not going to do shit today. My phone gets better reception than my damn PC.
I have decided that I want to be one of two people when I get old, and I'm an old woman and I'm bitter. I want to either become what's her name from Bad Batch?
Omega?
No,
Sid.
Sid.
Oh.
Or
Sid.
Dr. Tiana from fucking Lower Decks. I want to be just as hostile and just pissed off all the time as one of them.
Why not be both?
Right?
There we go.
That's going to be me with my medical marijuana. Someday.
I just love it. So we broke the sex doll. I just wanted the box. Yes, I said something positive about Lower Decks, everybody. Wait, I am not a doll. Do not play. Oh, God.
All right. Ready to get this going?
Ready to roll?
Yeah, can someone link the Trello when you get a chance, please?
I got you, let me share
Thank you.
links here real quick before we get started.
So, I always thought Raina was going to be more like Dr. Pulaski.
You know what? I probably could. Going into the field than I am.
Thank you.
I put in the parts. Like going in the field I probably could be.
I'm very wary about these transporters and Mr. Data. Go find a job somewhere else.
Is it bad that Lower Decks review is spelt wrong?
No, it's on brand.
I just
Got me.
I just pictured Ross like
on
the
brand.
kid like taking the crayon across the letter and fixing it. And it's backwards.
It's on brand, not for the Super Geeks. It's on brand for Lower Decks.
Is that on a Trello?
Yes, it is.
Yep, that's all the Trello.
Oh, let's see here.
Before we do, LeVar Burton has come
That's
on.
enough
Basically,
to keep us busy for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this will be a nice quick show.
For one.
I will say this though: LeVar Burton went on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah and gave an interview, basically saying he is done pursuing the Jeopardy job. He asked himself, he goes, "What game show is good for LeVar Burton now?" And I'm like, "Oh, damn it!" I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, let me get shared into
Hollywood Squares. That's a show for LeVar Burton.
The interview he did with Trevor Noah was really good. I liked it, and LeVar Burton was just
developing his own.
No.
The interview, if you guys haven't seen the interview with Trevor Noah and LeVar Burton, LeVar is just his typical wholesome, humble self, and it's like, damn it, LeVar, we love you, and we can't be mad at you. He basically humbly gave up. He's like, I love the host they picked. He goes, I competed, I didn't get it. He's like, what's the next step in my life?
Going back to Reading Rainbow.
You don't have to take.
Oh no! Keep the Reading Rainbow attitude. And reboot. Where in the Wherever is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh hell yes!
Oh, I would be.
That's a game show that needs to come back.
Hey, if they're bringing Legends of the Lost Temple to Nickelodeon for an adult version, they could do that with Carmen Sandiego.
I mean, Netflix already has the Carmen Sandiego show.
Yeah.
Like the animated.
That would
show.
actually be a good show for him.
It's not a terrible show. It's just that the animation studio that they hired is pretty suspect.
Yeah, well. All right, we're shared to the Super Geeks group. We're shared there. Shared everywhere else.
And they did a really good job, Netflix, honoring Lynn Thigpen as the chief.
All right, Ross, you ready?
Ready.
All right.
I gotta check our Trello real quick here.
So, for those of you who want a free game, Titan Quest Anniversary Edition is free to keep on Steam for the next 6 days.
Woohoo! Is it going to be free to keep permanently after that, or?
Yeah, that's why it says free to keep. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to grab that. Link it to me whenever.
Yeah, I have like a whole thing that tells me what's available on Steam, whether it's a weekend or free to keep.
Sweet, yeah, definitely link me to that. I'll grab it after the show. I've been wanting to get that.
We gonna talk about Norm Macdonald?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Trello doesn't seem very.
Trello was done 5 minutes before the show, Travis.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem to be.
But we'll get the Trello stuff out of the way, and then we'll go from there.
We just have to put out APV on Carlos Pedraza. That's just all there is to it.
So, Greg.
Yes.
You were talking about how Lower Decks review was spelt wrong. Did you read the bottom? Did you read the bottom? Where it's Blues 25th sees the return of Steve?
That was last week, son.
But that's what's literally on the Trello. That's what's the Trello.
It is.
Yes, right.
That's the Trello.
It was on last week's Trello. Yeah, I know it's there. Yeah, I saw it last week, but yeah. Hey, Lower Decks is spelled correctly now.
Blues.
Yes, I fixed that. Thank you.
We gotta find another blue. That's the blue. Put it in the
All
blue.
right.
Okay, someone mute Travis.
Starting countdown. Are you ready, Ross?
I am ready.
You're not moving, but okay, now you're okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, countdown, Raina. This is what happens when you hate Captain Kirk.
Uh-oh. I hate you, Justin.
You're
All
welcome,
right.
Craig.
Will my internet behave tonight? Succeed on a 3, a greater. That's a 2.
Oh, shit.
Hey,
More tonight on this mobile edition of the Real Super Geeks.
at least it's honest.
Be on brand with somebody having internet.
The die don't lie.
Welcome to this episode of the Real Super Geeks on the 17th of August, 2021. My name is Ross, your host for the evening, coming to you live from my phone because my PC is deciding and my ISP are deciding not to cooperate tonight. So, slightly downgraded version this evening. I hope it's not too terrible. Dia, I sincerely apologize. Joining me is my wonderful array of hosts who will hopefully make up for my lack of quality tonight. First and foremost is the man who's making all of the behind-the-scenes stuff happen. It's Justin. How you doing tonight?
Hey, doing pretty good. Sorry for all your internet woes tonight. You should not have rolled that dice. Should have known better. That's just
The dice does not lie.
Obviously not. That was Raina. Alrighty. So yeah,
It was an appropriate gig. I've been getting a lot of wargaming in this month.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully once you get a free day where you can breathe for longer than 5.2 seconds and, not run around and act like a crazy person, you get that router installed.
He's got a kid. That's not going to happen.
Well,
No,
I know.
I've also got I've also got tech support coming down to take a look at it next Friday. So in time for the next show, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Have you tried reversing the polarity of something?
Ross,
have you turned it off and turned it back on again?
Ross got that packlet internet service.
Have you tried restarting your restarting your warp core mid warp?
The internet service guy is like, oh, I don't have a big enough hat to fix your internet. You're gonna have to take that up with the manager.
Just turn it off, turn it back on again. Maybe reverse the polarity, eject the warp core, and hope for the best. Yeah, there you go.
He's wearing a hat tonight. It's Greg. How you doing this week?
Doing great. Doing great, actually. I made affiliate with Twitch, and since then I've gained 10 more followers and 3 subs, so I'm doing pretty good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Twitch world.
She's sporting some wonderfully bright new specs tonight. Raina, how you doing this week?
I can see. I'm not blind as a bat. I've
I've
had a good week. I lost my voice Monday through Wednesday, so it was just I was playing. Funny story for you guys. I was on an Xbox chat and people were making fun of me because I had no voice, and I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I went, "Ooh, that's a chicken!" And my voice went so high, I sounded like a squeaking mouse. Everybody was like, "Damn, you sound like Mickey Mouse! Holy hell!" So yeah, I've had a good week though. Other than that, so.
Raina, now that you have your glasses, you can't go around saying you're blind as a Batman.
Yes. I woke up on a Monday, and I couldn't see anything, and I thought I had sleepy eyes, and then I ran into the door, and I realized that I may need a doctor to wave a light over it.
Yeah. If you get up and you can't see, that might be a good course of action.
Well,
don't realize how
fortunately,
blind you
it's a good
are.
look for you.
Thank you. You don't realize how blind you are until you can finally see again.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He's the third man with the specs in the show, and his hetero life mate, it's Travis and Lane.
Life mate.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing this week?
I'm kind of anxious / depressed / like optimistic because like I know I'm pretty much the only baseball guy here right now. Well, you're wearing the hat of a team that is doing terrible right now.
So
Wow, shots fired.
But like I'm optimistic for my team, but in the same way, like I'm also like kind of preparing myself because it's looking like it's not going to happen this year again. The Seattle Mariners were like in second place for a while, and now they're back to third place. And I'm like, God damn it, guys. You got this. Stop doing this to me. Just get to the playoffs and get out of this drought of postseason depression.
you need the A's to mess up, and you guys to go and win.
Finally, someone is able to feel to understand how I feel about the first 3 seasons of Discovery.
I don't know about that, but yeah, other than that, I'm fine for the most part. Like, just been chilling for the most part, and
Chilling like a
I've
villain.
had 2 very busy days at work in a row. I'm ready to geek out. Let's do it.
Real quick,
All
Travis.
right.
I'm just gonna say this real quick, Travis. You need the Angels to do well because we have to beat the Athletics 2 more times, and Mariners are there.
Yeah, there you go. So beat the A's for me.
She is our dimensional hopping fish.
Tell what's his name?
Hold on.
Tell. Oh, what is
Are you
That's the sound of the
about?
podcast going down the toilet.
Are you talking about Sean?
No. I know who he's talking about. I'm gonna let's let Ross finish his intro.
Okay.
She's our dimensional hopping fish mommy. It's Sun. How you doing this week?
Hi. Went to the doctor this week. Been going once a month for like the past year, and every 3 months I get my A1C done. And had to get it done today, and we're like, well, things have stabilized at high. And for this entire year that we've been taking your A1C every 3 months, your white blood cell count is extremely high for like even on a baseline of having an infection. I'm going to send you to a chemotherapist doctor to find out why your blood cell count is so high. And I'm like, okay. But we also found out what's probably been making me sick, and it's possibly one of my medications. So we're just trying to cycle those in and out, being off for 2 weeks of one and then cycling off to the other until we find out whatever the hell it is.
Oh, goodness.
So things are looking up, sort of. Of course, I mean, I don't think I have cancer, but I'm going to go see a chemotherapist.
Well, hope you don't, because yeah, I got an X-ray coming up this week too to figure out what's going on with my shoulder. So, yeah, let's hope all medical things turn out well for all of us.
Mm-hmm. So, Ross will be happy about where I am this week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I decided I would I would play a little GDI.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing GDI just so that I can play Nod later.
There you go. There you go. Oh, glory of the 90s FMV cutscenes. Look at those things.
Space.
All right. Thank you, guys. Glad to have you all here once again for a evening of geeking out on
It's
a rather
surfing, Justin.
Oh.
It's a rather light week this week. Nothing earth-shattering or that we kind of tired ourselves out on Star Trek Day last week and everything that happened. So a light week seems fitting. And of course, we'll set things off with our reviews. First off, let's start off with
hydrating.
I don't have it open, so okay, yeah, there it is. Hydrate. Thank you, Travis.
Hey, Travis, if you want, just if you do those, knock it over on the side chat, and every time I'll pop it up on the screen, and we'll say hydrate.
All right. So, Travis, now that is out of the way, do you have your recap ready for the week?
I do.
Let's hear it.
Once again, kind of proud. Though I'm going to go ahead and just say this before I get on with it. I have a feeling that I am able to have a lot more fun with the MCU recaps than I am with Lower Decks, mainly because MCU is not a comedy thing, and so when I write a jokey recap, it is easier just to make the what if sound completely silly, where with Lower Decks it's a comedy already, so it's how do I make this silly already? But whatever, let's get on with it. You guys ready for this?
Let's hear it.
You ready?
You
ready?
You ready?
Do you have a big enough hat?
Is that a helmet of the Packlet Emperor you're wearing, or are you just happy to see me?
Jesus fuck.
No, but I have a very large box I can wear on my head.
Oh.
This week on Lower Decks posting, I think Ross killed himself. I think Ross died.
Only on the Real SuperGeeks, folks.
So here's the interesting thing. That was a nice panty shot, Ross. Thank you.
Right.
Sweatpants.
Thank God he was clothed.
Doritos goes to Packlet Planet to negotiate a ceasefire. A Packlet refugee tells us he's definitely not a spy, and it's garbage day for the Cerritos. Well, our lower deckers go from room to room to throw out dangerous drunk that the crew just takes with them casually. Boimler joins this super cool club called the Red Shirts, hoping they can help him become a better leader. While all this happens, Freeman realizes that she'd rather be at the DMV than negotiating with the Packlets. She wants to speak to the manager, and they're like, I'm just the delivery guy. You'll need a bigger helmet person to do what you want to do. The Packlet refugee, who's definitely not a spy, tours the ship with Ransom and Kayshawn, who is still in the show, and is like, I'm definitely not a spy. Ransom is like, okay, sure, this guy is so dumb. Let's get him to let's get him to tell us about. Wait, where'd he go? Where'd he go? The Packlet's giving him the slip. Where could he be? The Red Shirts give Boimler a makeover. He's super giddy about it with Tendi, and the Red Shirts are like, wow, your so-called friends are losers. You can't be friends with them. While this happens, Mariner and Rutherford are whining about garbage day, and Tendi's having fun, and Mariner is like, oh my god, you're happy all the time. It's annoying. Shut up. And Tendi's like, no, you're whining, and you shut up. And then she gets eaten by a slug and pooped out, and is like, oh my god, this Cerrito sucks. This sucks. I hate you. I hate everything. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. Then she transforms into a scorpion. Boimler makes her laugh, and the day is saved. The red shirts are like, you're not welcome in our club anymore. Boimler's like, cool, your club stinks anyway. And Casey's like, nah, my club rocks. Then Jennifer's like, nah, it kind of sucks. Bye-bye. Ransom and Kayshawn find the Packlet floating in space. They revive him, and they're like, what the fuck? And the Packlet's like, dude, your bathroom is like dangerous. He gets transported down and is like, I know all about your bathrooms. I know you're not Janeway. And Freeman's like, yeah, you got me. And the spy's like, yeah, like, by the way, I'll never tell you about our bomb to blow up Earth. And Freeman's like, well, damn, guess I'll have to leave then and not warn Starfleet since I don't know anything about your bomb. Then Mariner is like, hey, everyone, look what I found in Shax's room. And Rutherford's like, whoa, is that vibranium? And Mariner's like, no, that's the next show. This lets you call other planets. And they're like, what do we do with that? And Tenny's like, I know what to do. She calls this big blob and is like, hey, Armus, is your fridge running? Armus is like, no, I don't have a fridge. And they're like, oh, well, you're stupid. You're in a worse episode than Marvel's Zombie What If episode. And he's like, damn you. The end.
Oh, thank you so much, Travis. Oh, as entertaining as ever.
Put any normal effort into that one.
What's that?
You usually give it a little bit more pizzazz.
I'm giving
Dude, that was good.
Pizzazz.
Anyway, thank you so much.
That was funny.
Okay, so I'll be honest, Travis. You're worrying too much about your delivery about the Lower Decks episodes. The best thing you could do is be
Honest.
Ben Stein about Lower Decks.
God. Yes.
Oh, Christ.
Oh my God.
You already kind of have the monotone down. Just be Ben Stein serious about each episode of Lower Decks. That's what will make it funny.
Hilarious.
Maybe I should try that next week.
I suggest got it down.
All right. Thank you so much, Travis. Always glad to hear it. So, a lot to talk about in this episode. For me, this, although it's kind of hard to say what the A plot in this episode was because we had quite a few.
Yeah.
We had the anomaly collection, of course. Why the bridge crew are holding on to a bunch of incredibly dangerous anomalies in their own personal quarters is an entirely different question. You had Boimler running around with the red shirts, trying to emulate other captains to be command material, and then you had Captain Freeman, who keeps getting called Captain Janeway down at the Packlids on Packlid Planet.
Cool name, right? Makes us sound invincible.
And then, of course, the end with Armus that came out of absolutely nowhere that I couldn't help, but I couldn't stop laughing for about 10 minutes after that. I really liked this episode. It was fun to see Boimler on his own and there's a word for what they were doing, but I can't really think of it. I guess Mariner described it best calling them suck-ups.
You mean ripping off an entire episode of Deep Space Nine? Yeah. There's a thing for that. It's called ripping off an episode of Deep Space Nine.
What episode of Deep Space Nine is that?
Yeah.
Red Squad?
No, it was nowhere near that.
Red Squad?
Red Squad?
I mean, you could compare them to Red Squad, but
okay.
not the entire episode.
Yeah, it's nowhere near like that.
But, I mean, yeah, they call themselves red shirts.
Yeah,
which was a fun bit of irony, I thought. Usually I don't go in for obvious irony, but that one worked. I loved the anomaly collection in this episode. Seeing Tendi being her normal bubbly self while even Rutherford was feeling the drain of everything. And of course Boimler coming in at the end to save the day, doing something, actually acting in a crisis instead of just giving a speech like his new friends was great to see. And the payoff at the end, both with the kudos from Ransom and the moments of joy for the lead red shirt quickly squashed with, and go clean up airlock 17. The Packlet did something unspeakable in there. You're still an ensign. You still get the literal shit job.
Yep.
Oh, Justin, what did you think this week?
I actually enjoyed this week. It was pretty fun. I couldn't really figure out what the A plot was, but it was okay. If they jumped it around in a way, it was easy to keep up with the comedy that was going on. It wasn't real over the top for once. I'm hoping now they
Your mic's
found
cutting out,
their
Justin.
pace. It is. Hang on. I think I know what that is. And that should be
Close
off
Discord.
now. No, it's not. Oh wait, Discord on.
Ross, did you hydrate?
Yes, I did 7 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's whenever I do this. It's a now that I'm hydrated, and not just taking a drink.
Take a drink. Have a drink.
Visual nods. Keep up. Keep up.
Okay. Anyways, but yeah, it was an enjoyable episode. I really thought that the plot moved along everything quite nicely. So if they keep this pace up, I'll be happy. Looks like what's next week's episode?
Posture check. There we go. Now my head's going to be out of the frame. Thank you, Greg.
Greg, we're supposed to be saving for the singing redeems. Make them sing.
Next week's episode is going to be about the potato.
Don't make me sing for this one. My mic quality is so bad.
That's what makes it even more fun. Alrighty. Who's next, Greg?
Greg, what did you think of this episode?
It was terrible. It's absolute trash.
Oh God.
I'm kidding.
Now tell us what you really think.
I love the Boimer subplot. That was actually really fun. The second they were like, we call ourselves red shirts, and even when Boimer's like, that's a really bad thing to call yourselves, but okay, I dig it. The Boimer makeover was great. I did love him sitting in Picard's chair in the Enterprise D bridge. I was like, okay, I'll take that. I'm glad we got to see. Okay, I don't want to say this in a bad way. We saw Tendi break because Mariner's like, "Shut up, you're too damn positive," as she snaps. I'm like, "Oh, that's gonna go terribly," and it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, the second Freeman beams down, "You're Captain Janeway," and she's like, "I'm not Janeway." I was like, "Oh God, it was just so cringeworthy to me." I'm like, "She's not Janeway."
Janeway lied to us.
I'm sorry, Shax. Shax is just a Bajoran Worf. Every time a Packlet flinched, he's in front of Freeman like, I'm gonna kill him. and then he gets denied like Worf. Overall, okay. I don't want to say I hated the episode, but when they said at Star Trek Day, things are going to get so much crazier and better. This was a poor start to that statement. Not that it was bad, but when they hyped up saying this is going to be crazier, it's going to be unlike anything you've ever seen, I'm like, well, it was Lower Decks. It was Lower Decks in its fashion, but it wasn't crazier than what I was, than what we were expecting. So I was like, okay, disappointed it didn't live up to that hype, but I mean, the Pakleds, I don't have a big enough hat to judge it. I'm sorry.
Nicely done, Greg. Nicely done.
Travis has a bigger hat.
Raina, how about you?
I love this episode. As someone who has just an absolute soft spot for Tendi, actually seeing her lose her mind over that, it's so wholesome too when she turns back from the Scorpion, because she has a great laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you that much. And I noticed a little Easter egg. Did you guys listen to what Boimler was reading off food-wise?
It went so quick, I wasn't able to catch all of it.
It's a Fairly Odd Parents reference to the theme song.
Oh,
really?
He says,
yeah. That's what he was
Hartman.
reading off so fast. I was like,
taffy, honey, shrimp, soda, corn, steak, chicken nugget, crispy lemon, rock candy, chili, gravy, chocolate sundae, hot.
Yep, that's Fairly Odd Parents.
I thought it was just absolutely hilarious. to me, I kind of like the Boimler plot a lot, which it's great to see him getting more screen time because I feel like he's been shafted so much this season that it's been nice to see him get some actual decent screen time because I like him as a character. I do like how Anomaly Duty, just seeing everything that could go wrong, does. Like, I just love that, where it's like, oh, great, more crystals of different colors that we're totally not supposed to touch. And they're just like all over the fucking place. Like, why are they keeping these here in the open where anybody can touch them? It's, I don't know. I found it just absolutely hilarious. And I thought the Packlet thing was funny where he was just floating out because it made me think of Among Us. Like when someone gets ejected.
The title.
Yeah.
That was the title. It was an Among Us reference. The Spy Humongous.
I was just laughing and I was like, this is great. This is fantastic. I like this episode. I don't think it was the best one of the season, but I definitely had just a fan, like, just loved it all the way through. But like I said, any episode that has like a funny Tendi moment, I'm totally behind. So she's like my favorite.
Tendi is definitely a fan
favorite. How the Packlet was still alive.
Oh yeah.
Well, they have very elegant architecture. I noticed that, so it's kind of weird.
I just love Tiana's like just absolute crass about it. Like, I don't know how the fuck this guy is still alive.
They find him just drifting into space. I thought an airlock was a toilet.
Oh man, this whole episode is good. You know, I take it back. This has been the most fun I've had all season.
Oh, thank you, Raina. Travis, how about you?
Oh, I definitely thought it was the best episode of the season so far.
Travis has a big hat.
I do have a big hat. I love my hat. I paid $80 for this hat. Anyway, I just like, one thing I got to say right off the bat is that I absolutely love how the Packlet homeworld is literally just called Packlet Planet. That, like, little things like that just tickle me. I don't know what it is, but the fact that, like, you know, the Packlets, they're this like race that is kind of slow and not as up to speed as other races are, and they think they're like being super subtle, and they're just like, let's name our homeworld Packlet Planet. Like, I also just loved seeing the like society of the Packlets. Like, I was strangely invested in the whole, like, oh, I don't have a big enough helmet for that. Here's the queen, and the queen doesn't have a big enough helmet. Neither does the king, but the emperor does. It's just like, why am I so invested in this like crazy hierarchical like monarchy that isn't a monarchy and yet is? And like, I was just like, I want to know more about this. And I loved the fact that like freaking the revolution was only like 5 seconds. Like, that entire plot on Packlet Planet was super fun. Like, for a story to come from the fucking Packlets to grip me like that, I don't know how they do it. I also absolutely loved, you know, Tendi. Like, when Mariner like berates her and says, like, you know what, sometimes work is just work and this sucks, and like, you know, you're just like, she's tired of how over enthusiastic she always is. Like, when Tendi's like, okay, I'm sorry, like, I felt that. Like, I can actually find myself in Tendi's place sometimes when like I will upset somebody and just be kind of at this loss where it's like, okay, sorry, don't know, like just anxiety can just kind of take over. And like, you can, like, I could tell that like there was something like just kind of really shocking her. Like, I felt for her like a lot there. Yeah, the red shirt story, like the red shirt plot, absolutely charming. I love the very closing scene. I'm not one for throwaway gags a lot of the time, but much like the very last scene in Veritas from last season with Q coming up and like, I challenge you all to a duel, and Mariner's like, get out of here. Like, this had the same kind of vibe. Them prank calling fucking Armus of all things, and just like saying like, oh, Armus, we're touching your stuff, and hearing him like, what stuff? Stop it! Just like, like I was giggling, like just like I didn't see that kind of thing coming, and yet I didn't know I needed it. It's one of those things you don't realize you need until it's already happening on the screen, and what can I say? Who would have thought that something good would come from a terrible episode like Skin of Evil?
Vortex does that a lot. They take the obscure, the bad, and kind of repackage it so that it highlights the ridiculousness of it and makes good comedy.
Yeah, they do a really good job with it.
By the way, Raina, I did this because you said it.
Yes.
Is that a fez? That's a fez.
Yes. And a bow
Because
tie.
Raina said Travis has a big hat. Here I thought thinking was Lane.
That's not just
Elaine
a fez.
has the biggest hat.
That's not just a fez. That's a Shriner's hat.
Tie.
It's got the black tassel and everything.
All right. Thank you, Travis. And Sun.
So, Ross, remember how you said to see that the Pac-Leds had a really elegant architecture?
Yes.
It's because they stole Frank Lloyd Wright.
There you go.
If you, for those of you who don't know your architecture, Frank Lloyd Wright is the guy who invented falling water, also known as the waterfall house.
Oh,
now it's starting to click.
But it didn't look anything like Frank Lloyd Wright's architecture.
Oh, sure. That's because the Pac-Leds wanted him to do something else.
I'm not getting it, but anyway. Any other thoughts?
Look, at least I didn't mention the painting lady who drew flowers that looked strangely like vaginas, okay?
Okay.
You mean
Okay.
Floyd the Wall?
This episode. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and as you guys just keep describing the red shirt group, it seems so much like a mix of Red Squad from that DS9 episode, but it also kind of feels like you talked about the end, how it's like they kind of started falling apart, and it's like even members of the red shirt thing were like, no, this thing really isn't all that cool. I can't remember what group it was, but like there was this group in Star Trek Online that was like really, really toxic at one point. Like to the point that they actually started doxing Star Trek Online devs. And I can't remember if they were called Red Shirt Army or something like that.
It sounds familiar.
And it's like this also kind of seems like a reference to that, but who in the world in the writing team would be that invested to years of Star Trek Online to know all that crap?
Seems like a bit of it. That's probably a bit too meta for what they're going for. Making references to previous Star Trek shows, sure. Making references to licensed Star Trek content seems a bit too far for them for now, probably. Here's another hydrate.
But yeah, no, it's
the red shirts just seems like more of a bit of comedic irony to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's it's like, okay, that's cool. The Tendi thing, well, that's as much as you felt that, Travis. That's literally Tendi having a mental break after we literally had the last episode or so. No, it was the cat sex idol episode, right? Where she's literally talking about all of this pressure to be the best Orion ever because she's like in Starfleet, right?
Yeah.
This is her having that mental break. This is her having that mental break.
Yeah, she actually does scream in the episode, like,
Because,
I wish I was still on Orion.
Because all of that happy-go-lucky that she has, that's not natural. Even she admits that's not natural. Because she admits that in the other episode. Yeah, no, all of that is her trying to put on her best face, and guess what? It broke. Just like the Tupperware thing in Aladdin, it broke.
Combination hookah and coffee maker.
Mm-hmm. Also makes julienne fries.
That's how it broke.
So here's the other thing. The whole anomaly cleanup thing. To me, that's just another Star Trek Online reference. What the hell do you think all the contraband you turn in is? So yeah, no, that's what that was to me. But again, I don't watch these episodes. I'm just listening to you guys. So
speaking of Star Trek Online, I have jumped back into the fray and downloaded the game again.
Well, I mean, the
new updates and their new the new story chapter just began.
The new update was so predictable, though.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not spoiling
I'm hearing
anything.
a lot of good things, though. People are pretty happy with what they're doing so far.
The biggest thing about this update is that they've finally done the 4th free ship a year.
Really?
Yeah, because we've had 3 every year for the past couple of years. At this point, we have one for the anniversary, which is spring, one for the summer event, and one for the winter event. And with this, we have the introduction of a fall ship.
Ooh, what ship are they giving away?
They're giving Mir Gagarin away.
Ooh.
So you play the whatever the special episodes are, and you get a point every day for 20 days, and then you get the ship.
Nice.
They also went and updated a bunch of their old ship models to the new standard. They're all more highly detailed. There's depth to the models now.
Models look really good.
Pretty much all of the redesigns that they did for the 25th century. Took a bunch of classic designs from TNG and DS9 and Voyager, as well as a few that were introduced in Discovery that they carried forward and made them look like 25th century ships.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool stuff.
I went on yesterday and went to explore the Fleet Museum that they got right down in Seoul, and the new ships are, the skins are looking really, really good. I mean, they've done a hell of a job. I was really impressed.
So
I'm able to run it on high resolution. Absolutely no problems. I love it. Love it.
So you'll be for those of you who don't have the legendary Voyager skin, because you're not going to shell out $1,000 for a pack like that. The legendary skin for Voyager, the legendary Voyager ship, is Warship Voyager from Living Witness.
Mm-hmm.
The updated, one of the updated Mirror Universe ships is the Tier 6 Pathfinder, which is the Tier 6 version of Voyager. Except it's got all the Warship Voyager bits on it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And for those of you sci-fi literature fans out there, Thomas Moroni, the lead ship designer, is an unashamed Honor Harrington fan, and every now and again he'll see little bits of Honor Harrington into Star Trek Online. Like, for example, when they redesigned the 25th century uniforms, Captain's uniforms, instead of being topped in red, are topped in white, which is similar to the Honor Harrington tradition of commanding officers wearing white berets. And in the story blog for this update, for the update about ships, the commanding officer of the Starship Design Bureau was a Rear Admiral Sonia Hemphill, which is a character directly lifted from Honor Harrington. So it's a fun bit of sci-fi trivia there. All right. Well, thank you guys. I think we've had enough time for a little Star Trek Online talk, trying to get a bit more gaming news into the show. Let's go into our next review for the day, and that is this week's What If? What if Killmonger saved Tony Stark? Travis, are you ready?
Am I ready?
Are you
That's what I asked
ready? Ready.
This week, on an episode that probably could not be worse than last week's episode if it tried.
And that made Raina angry.
That made all of us angry.
We visit a world without Iron Man because Tony Stark never gets kidnapped. Instead, right before Tony Stark gets exploded by his own bomb, Killmonger's like, "Surprise, motherfucker," and yeets the bomb away like it doesn't weigh anything like a real bomb. Tony is saved, and he's like, "Wow, you're cool. Want to be my new BFF at work?" And Killmonger's like, "Sure. By the way, your CEO was the one behind the attack. I posted it on Reddit." And Tony's like, "Surprise face, what?" "Here, be my new CEO." And Killmonger's like, "Sure. By the way, can we make this super expensive next generation robot trooper that's more functional than Ed 209 and definitely not a Gundam Pacific Rim ripoff?" Tony's like, "What?" They make the robot and they realize they need a new power source. And Tony is like, "Too bad we don't have the technology of the previous show the Super Geeks talked about." And Killmonger is like, "No worries, we just need vibranium." And Tony's like, "I'm not going to question how you know about that. But I don't have any." Killmonger's like, "I conveniently have some right here." And Tony's like, "What an unexpected development, but we need more." And Killmonger's like, "I know a guy." And Tony is like, "This isn't suspicious at all." Killmonger goes to meet this guy and get the vibranium out of nowhere, and Black Panther spoils the sale and is like, "This is our stuff and I'm taking it back." And Killmonger is like, "How about no?" and kills him. And Tony's friend is like, "Why would you do that?" And Killmonger's like, "I'm secretly a bad guy and now you're dead." Killmonger goes home and Tony's like, "I know you killed my friend, you jerk. And now you will fight your anime robot." And Killmonger's like, "How about I kill you instead?" Tony's like, "What? Ow, I'm dead." The general of the U.S. is like, "Oh, Tony Stark's dead. We're going to take all his weapons and go to war with Wakanda." And Killmonger's like, "How do you know if that's even a place?" And the general's like, "I don't know. Well, I guess I better hope it's there." Killmonger's like, "Screw you guys. I'm going home." He goes to Wakanda and is like, "I'm your secret nephew. Can you be my father now?" And the king's like, "Your pa is strong. Welcome home." And Killmonger's like, "The U.S. army of robots is coming." And the king laughs and is like, "Oh, wait, you're serious. I know how to deal with them." The general sends his army of robots in, and he's like, "Wow, Wakanda's real. Send in the droids. It'll be like that. It'll be like that cool Star Wars movie, The Phantom Menace." The robots enter Wakanda, and it's just as epic as Helm's Deep. Just kidding. They close the shields, and the robots power down. The general's like, "Damn it, I knew I should have used a better network than Ross's 3G network." Killmonger
Well, you killed Ross.
Of course I did. I had to do it. Anyway, Killmonger presses a button and makes the army live again because movie, they fight, they win. The king's like, "Take this herb." And Killmonger's like, "Hell yeah, I love the herb." And the king's like, "I do too, but this is a different herb and it makes you the Black Panther." And Killmonger's like, "Oh, I knew that." he takes it and is like, wow, this is better than any other herb I've ever had. I'm seeing panther ghosts of my dead cousin I killed. And T'Challa's like, you're a dick. And Killmonger's like, no, you. And no one could possibly know that I actually killed you. Meanwhile, this young girl from Wakanda goes over the seas to see Mrs. Potts and is like, hey, I know who killed Tony. And Mrs. Potts is like, let's not do anything about it right now. The end. Also, this episode made me realize the Watcher is a bit of a big creep if you really think about it.
All right. Well, thank you, Travis. Oh, this was an interesting episode. It was nice to have a break from the totally bleak last couple episodes that we had, but it was interesting nonetheless. Perspective of a sympathetic villain, one who has good intentions, but does things very, 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 very wrong. The Tony angle is a pretty good one. Having him get in with a person who has the ways and means to accomplish all of his goals. His planning is very elaborate and very well thought out. Everything in the show made sense, and I don't really have any gripes against it. Outstanding moments. The Queen is a damn Dora. It was amazing to see her on the front lines with Okoye and the rest at her back. That was absolutely badass, and just sad that Pepper just kept getting shoved to the side. Where with the mainline Tony's plot line, she was much more central to everything that happened to him instead of kind of being stuck in the peripheral. Though it was very satisfying to see happy Slug Obadiah. That was nice. All right, Raina, why don't we lead with you?
Oh my god, I actually really love this episode. I mean, there wasn't anything, like you said, the logic was sound, other than him yeeting that missile as if it weighed nothing. That was the only thing where I was like, okay, come on, now you're having fun with it. But anything was better after that fucking shitty episode last week. But, you know, like, one thing I really liked is they did a couple things with it that I really enjoyed. Like, I kind of like Dark Tony when he loses Rhodey in here. As one of the things, like, Jesus, he was actually menacing for like a whole minute. I was like, oh my god, this guy is straight up vengeful. No, but yeah, like Happy Hogan, I love him just knocking the hell out of Obadiah, because that was something that you wanted to happen. Another thing is I like, well, if this doesn't work, we'll have the biggest overpriced replica of a Gundam ever. I really love. I just love the whole. Oh, this is a thing. I like anime. Like, I just love how there's just that explanation for it. Like, and the design of the robots was fucking cool. Like, it was straight up awesome. Like, I would love to see those cross over in the Ultron episode. Like, they were that fucking cool. Like, I really enjoyed that. And overall, I've always liked Killmonger as a villain. And I feel like here he like used his talents like the best way he could. His job was to destabilize governments. He forced a war by just killing two different people. Like, I find that incredible. Like, and it was so smooth on top of it. Like, I just love that nobody doubted him because of his credentials. Like, not a single person. And
skill.
Yeah, and honestly, one of my favorite jokes was, Killmonger. Is that German? It's just kind of a nickname. Like, just like, what the hell? That nervous dialogue. But it really had a lot of artistic moments too, like showing Tony's main highlights in the MCU, which I really liked that they redid those. Like him banging out the Mark I armor in the cave, the snap. Like, I felt like those are really, really, really great moments that they had a chance to draw out in this style, and I really appreciated that. I also love that they brought back Killmonger's theme, because if you've listened to the Black Panther score, that is like one of the best scores in all of the MCU. Yeah, I love that score. That score is fantastic for a villain. And I also like when he became this version of Black Panther, I like that they brought back the black and gold armor. Like, I'm a sucker for that. Like, it looks so good. But overall, I think this was one of the better ones. But I mean, it was a complete palate cleanser from last week. Like, something
no
nice.
kidding.
I like the whole thing with the queen being part of the Dora Milaje, which I guess they said is a very deep cut from one of the comics. I saw in an Easter egg video, they were saying that it's from one of the mainline comics of that was really popular back in the day. But I just overall, I like the music, I like the direction they took it, and I feel like with Tony, it was a nice look into what he would be like without those life lessons that made him Iron Man.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, I'm just gonna one more thing before I move on. I still think Terrence Howard is probably kicking himself in the ass over not realizing how big this was going to be, because Don Cheadle was like, was probably getting paid significantly less and is probably one of the richest people now. I'm done, but I like this episode. It was fantastic.
All right, thank you, Raina. Travis, how about you and Lane?
It was very enjoyable. I mean, I don't think it's like in some ways I was hoping that this would be one of the better ones. And was maybe just slightly disappointed that it's like this one started off really kind of good to me, because like Killmonger, you didn't really know what his angle was until later. And when, I feel like the episode kind of started to go downhill after he kills Stark. It wasn't like bad, it was just kind of underwhelming. Like, I don't know why he felt the need to activate the robot army when they had already compromised it. I don't know why, there was just some things that just kind of felt a little forced, I guess. In some ways, like, it's really kind of cool to see Killmonger achieve what he was trying to achieve in the Black Panther movie. Seeing him reach Wakanda and find his home and take a place amongst his people. Something, that he had been robbed of. And, seeing him finally get there was good. It just, what they did with it felt very, just kind of, checkmarky, I guess, because I just didn't really feel too much when the fight was happening and they're all, saying, for T'Challa, Yimbambe, Wakanda forever. It just didn't have the emotion, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But seeing him and Tony, seeing him work with Tony and seeing them kind of pal around and seeing him get on his good side only to stab him in the back, basically, that felt natural. It felt heavy. And I do kind of feel it was kind of a cop-out that just Jarvis solves the mystery murder. But, I mean, that's just me. I thought this was an enjoyable enough episode. Not good, not great. That kind of episode.
All right. Thank you, Travis. Greg, what did you think?
Zombies was better. No, I like this episode. I am one of those. Killmonger's not a villain. He's misguided, but I heavily believe he's not a villain. But if we're gonna put him in that same breath, Killmonger is absolutely second best villain behind Thanos in the MCU right now. His motives are clear from day one, and the way they went about this story, knowing that, like we've said, Tony Stark was basically his gateway to get what he wanted. it also highlighted Tony is very easily manipulated. Killmonger goes and saves him. Random Killmonger goes and saves him, and Tony, instead of, if it had been already been Iron Man, Tony would have been suspicious. But then he's like, "Oh, you saved my life, thank you." Then of course he jumps right on the, "Oh yeah, oh by the way, Obadiah Stane is the one who orchestrated this hit on you." So he just takes it off from there. And of course,
you're back.
And of course, Pepper being Pepper, she's like, "This isn't right." Like, she's on it from the get-go. She knows better because she knows Tony. But Killmonger masterfully executed his plan, going step by step. And Rhodey said a line in the film, because how Killmonger's thing is about ethnic oppression among Black people, that his mission is to free and help his brothers and sisters. Rhodey says a line that it should have resonated more with Killmonger, but he does retort it when Rhodey says, to change the system, you have to be a part of the system. And that hits hard for a lot of people suffering from ethnic oppression. And even in today's world, like, that's the line that unfortunately is true. In order to change the system, you have to become a part of it. In a way, Rhodey and Killmonger both do that. Rhodey's trying to do it for the better, but Killmonger just takes that extra step. He is a Navy SEAL. He is a killer. He's an assassin. And he uses his position of power and intelligence to just absolutely obliterate any notion of good basically going forwards. Like, he goes, "I'm doing it my way," and just rises up the ladder. He kills his own cousin in T'Challa. He then manipulates his family. He's like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "Hi uncle, I'm back," and this and that. They all welcome with open arms, and becoming Black Panther. And this is one of those episodes like we want to see a sequel to, because when he's having that discussion with T'Challa, it's like, T'Challa's like, "Can you live with yourself after doing this?" Like, that discussion is something I would have loved. If this would have been, this is that episode that should have been an hour-long one, because that conversation between him and T'Challa is absolutely one for the books. That, it's like, you have the good in T'Challa preaching to the good in Killmonger, but it's long gone. I love the episode. It was masterfully done, in my opinion. The pacing is of course quick. It's half an hour, but Killmonger is easily my favorite. Not an anti-hero, but he's just my favorite overall bad guy per se, next to Thanos. And honestly, you take away, if we're going off what if, then Killmonger's better than Thanos, because we have Captain Genocide, and then we have Killmonger, who actually did it. So
Captain Genocide and Captain Murder.
Exactly.
Well, Lieutenant Murder.
Lieutenant Murder, right? Yeah, he never gets promoted.
I would say Captain Regicide more than anything, since he's basically
okay. Yeah, there you go.
But this is Michael B. Jordan is astounding. Getting to hear Chadwick Boseman again, those two play off each other so well as a villain, hero role, family role. It's like, it's very rare in the MCU we see that kind of connection, and they played it masterfully. So definitely, T'Challa Star-Lord is still my favorite episode of the year for this show, but this is very heavily pushing for my second favorite of the year so far, as this one.
All right, thank you, Greg. Justin, what did you think?
I absolutely loved it. Way better than last week's shit show that was the Zombies on. I think we all can agree that one, except for Greg. But that's why Orville sucks. I
didn't mind the zombie episode, Justin.
Okay, they're killing the mood, Ross.
Anyway, continue your review, Justin.
Hey, I gotta burst your bubble every now and again, man.
I know. I mean, you did.
I'm debasing myself for the entertainment of this show. I get my shots in.
Oh, shot fired. Anyhow, but yeah, you gotta love Black Panther. I'm sorry. This was a great combination with actors that they played off each other wonderfully. Even though it's animated, you can tell. I mean, these were people that actually cared about their roles. Chadwick Boseman will be missed terribly. I think we got another episode coming with him, don't we? Another Black Panther episode coming.
I'm pretty sure there's at least, I think maybe 2 more.
Because I think
within
they've been hinting at a team up, so I think there's going to be at least one team up. At least that's what the promos have been hinting, that they're going to be doing a team up. So we'll have to see if that comes to be or not, or if that was just the silly teaser. But yeah, Chadwick, Black Panther. Well, now Killmonger, I would actually like to see him become Black Panther at one point. If they actually, do that in the MCU, mainstream, now that Chadwick's gone, maybe they can write that in.
Killmonger died at the end of Black Panther.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I will say that they actually have an opportunity to do that again if they wanted to because of the events of Loki. I mean, we could get an alternative Killmonger that does become our Black Panther, which I would not be against at all. Like, I feel like he's the perfect one. He's like, if we can't have Chadwick Boseman for obvious reasons, he would be the next best fucking thing. Like, I feel like having a sassy, pissed off like Black Panther would be really cool, honestly. Like, I feel like Chadwick has like a zen to him for that role. Like, I feel like, T'Challa has a zen around him where I feel like it'd be kind of nice seeing a reckless Black Panther like get his ass kicked and kind of learn humility from that.
Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
He was pretty vengeful in Civil War.
Yeah, but that was a little bit different. I mean, in terms of like, there's a difference between retribution, and just being what Killmonger is. Like, Killmonger, I think the lesson is he was like, as much as he tried to push back against oppression, he ended up becoming the oppressor himself. That's like one of my favorite lines in all of Black Panther. It's literally by doing what you're doing, you're becoming the thing that you hate. You're becoming that person. And I feel like the lesson of that movie is just there was a very fine line between, becoming the hero and the villain. I feel like Killmonger, like, that's the difference between him and Thanos. Like, I feel like Thanos and Killmonger both have like really like relatable things that they're fighting for. It's just the way they go about it. You wouldn't say I want better minimum wage and then go proceed to stab a CEO. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
since the idea is on the table.
I just find Michael B. Jordan just incredible. I feel like he's so good, and I feel like that would have been the obvious choice for me. If you're not going to do Shuri as the next Black Panther, that's the next thing you could have done. I was honestly kind of disheartened to hear that they're making a sequel and they're doing it in the spirit of Wakanda but to me, that kind of takes away from the purpose of that. And I feel like What If only solidifies that Michael B. Jordan would have fit perfectly in that role, because I feel like if you brought an alternate version of his character that was somewhat, that was decent and not vengeful and lived a normal life, I feel like he would have been the perfect person for that role. Hell, I'm still the one saying he should play Static in Static Shock if they ever make that movie. He's the only one who can play that role. He's a tremendous actor, and instead of putting him in shitty Fantastic Four films, that's where they need to put him.
Give us the Trank version. I'm okay with Michael B. Jordan where he's at. There's another one that they might, and this is a huge maybe, that M'Baku might be the next Black Panther. I wouldn't be against that. Like, they might deviate from Shuri and go with M'Baku.
Yeah, he's a good one too. I thought he was fantastic as well.
I will feed you to my children.
I just love him. Yeah. His and Drax's team up in Endgame in that fight scene. Drax just stabbing. What's his name in the back and just whack. Oh, that was so good.
All right. Thank you, Raina. And before I go to Sun, did I miss anybody?
Nope. I think
All right, Sun. Tell us your thoughts.
So you can totally tell I'm not a Marvel fan in any fucking capacity. I forgot who the hell Killmonger even was. I shit you not. I shit you not. When you guys said Killmonger, the first thought that went through my head is, what, the CEO guy saves Tony? What? I mean, he doesn't have an Iron Man suit yet because it's not even made yet. How does he save Tony? What?
Lost.
That's literally what went through my head until you guys started talking about Wakanda, and then I went, "Oh, that guy." Okay. I'm like, okay, that completely changes what I thought this episode was going to be. Okay, because I was confused.
If you just explain the premise of this episode to someone, they're
Yes.
So, like I said, you can tell I'm not a Marvel fan because I was confused.
That's all right.
So the way you guys have laid out the episode, it seems completely fine to me. I mean, outside of all of the obvious plot holes Travis mentioned in his monologue, like the guy who's a general who doesn't really know that Wakanda exists, but just kind of hopes it's there, and then goes and attacks it, and is like, "Oh, it's really here." Okay, I mean, that if that's like legit part of the episode, that's a really huge gaping hole.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly that, but yeah, it's pretty much that.
I mean, like there's like a lot of there's a lot of for a what if episode. There's a lot of leaps in logic here. You have to assume that the people who are watching have seen all the previous stuff, and that doesn't lend itself to the watchability of this episode if you're just a casual Marvel watcher, because you may not have seen everything. I mean, I haven't seen everything.
Ow.
I will say What If does feel very much like that. Like, not all the episodes are like that, but I feel like most of them, if you didn't watch the original movie where the timeline is changing, you're not going to get very much out of it.
Yeah.
I do feel like that. Like, even starting with the first one with Peggy Carter becoming like Captain Carter, like, I feel like if you didn't watch Captain America, that's going to be a very hit or miss episode for you.
It's going to be
fair.
a lot of people who aren't Marvel people like watched an episode and were like, "Wow, this is okay. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but this is cool. Oh, it's an episode of the Twilight Zone. It's not real. Oh, okay. Okay. Because I mean, like, I haven't even watched like most of the Captain America films. Like, the only film I've watched of anything of Captain America has been Civil War.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I haven't really kept up with any of that shit. I watched Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. I watched Civil War, and then I watched what's the one that's the lead up to Endgame?
Infinity War.
That's it. I watched Infinity War, and then I was about to say Galaxy Quest 1 and 2. Jesus Christ. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. That's it. That's literally all I've watched of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The rest I really don't give a shit about.
Like, I feel like it is how it is with, like, Lower Decks even. Like, you want a good example? Like, as me, someone who's just getting into Trek, like, there's a lot of episodes where I'm like, I'm sure that was funny to someone, but I have no idea what the fuck that actually meant. But there's episodes where I get, like, oh, okay, this is funny. I get what's going on. But I feel like What If is very much like that. If you've seen every MCU movie, you are going to get the most for your buck out of this show. But, like, as someone, like, if you're just coming into this, I would not recommend this show to anybody who's just starting out. I would not at all.
And that's fair. The show is catered more towards the
MCU faithful.
The MCU fan, someone who's actually been invested in the show, the films up to this point as a whole.
But yeah, no, it sounds like it was better than last week for a lot of you.
Yeah, it was.
Understatement.
Way better.
Understatement in this
Zombies was
universe.
good.
Way better. Way better.
It sounds like last week's episode really needed to focus less on the superheroes and more on the zombies.
No, even that wouldn't have saved it.
It would have. Well, I mean, if that's the way the comics went, maybe it would have.
Yeah.
Well, it would be more difficult for it to pass ratings boards if they went by the comics.
Yeah, the
just
comics
because the comics get very, very, very dark.
Well, sure, you don't have to go super dark, but you can go dark enough to have like these intelligent people realizing what they're doing and having their own kind of like nervous breakdowns about it.
My problem with What If, and with especially with that last episode, son, to give you an idea, when they did the Doctor Strange one, I felt like there was a baseline for that, where it was an emotional episode. Marvel's Zombies should have just been a horror themed episode, and it was just not. Like, they kept trying to fucking humor their way through it, and it was getting obnoxious.
So it's basically a DC film. Okay.
Yeah, like they couldn't decide. Like they were like, okay, do we want it to be a comedy or do we want it to be horror? Like they kept trying to, like they weren't even trying to do it in the middle. Like they kept leaning too hard into
Like
one side, and it was just
happy.
so, like, honestly, like people were like, oh, Spider-Man was the best part of the episode. He was the most fucking annoying of that episode because it took
Tom Holland.
It took any fucking tone that episode could have had to be at least somewhat serious, which it was a serious event. It should have been taken fucking seriously, but no, we're gonna do fucking Zombieland retread mixed with Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead is a better Marvel zombie What If than that episode was.
It started with a very dark reveal and then did a sudden left turn into Zombieland.
So what you're saying is it's Zombieland, but in the DC universe.
Now, if they would have kept it, the way they started dark, if they would have kept it dark, it would have been okay. But they had to try to fling comedy in there where it really didn't belong, and that's what kind of killed it.
But we've gone over that in depth last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel if they wanted to do comedy, they should have done Spider-Man Does Sunset Overdrive in Marvel.
Yeah,
that would have been so good.
Yes.
Oh, I love that game so much.
I need to play it still.
What?
It's worth it.
It's this.
All right. Any final thoughts on What If this week?
Give us another Zombies episode.
No, Greg. No.
Rocket Raccoon.
Well, I mean, there is hope we might see a zombie coming up eventually. They do a team-up episode.
Not a zombies episode, but what about a rabies episode? Then you could have Rocket Raccoon.
But yeah, like Justin said, though, they keep teasing this Avengers-style thing coming up, and we keep seeing it in the promos, so we're getting closer to that. We got, 3 more episodes?
Yeah, so
they got
a surprise thing.
What?
We have an enterprise thing? What?
The team-up thing.
The team-up thing. They keep teasing a team-up coming up in the promos and all. So it's like we're going to see some sort of What If Avengers teaming up. But with 3 episodes left, we'll see. Obviously, it's going to be the season finale, I'm guessing.
I honestly, did you guys see the What If, some of the premises? Like, I wish I would have linked that. There was an article where they had talked about some of the premises they dropped, and the one that was such a missed opportunity was if the Guardians showed up to defend during the Battle of New York instead of the Avengers. Like, I'm like, I would have fucking loved to see that.
Yeah.
No shit, I would have loved to see that. Like, they had dropped so many.
No, here's a better What If. If the Defenders were actually defending New York instead of the Avengers.
They're in their A-Team van. Helping the little guy.
They are not exactly canon anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I was like, let's try this.
It's like,
Let's see how
oh
it
no,
works.
there's
And
no more
no.
episodes of Luke Cage. Oh yeah, well, there's no other episodes of Iron Fist. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
All right.
I tried to watch that.
Yeah, but there's
show.
no more
Bye,
episodes
Ross.
of
And there
Jessica
goes the bye,
Jones
Ross.
either.
I know Jessica Jones was actually decent. I actually like that show, and I liked Luke Cage. I just fucking couldn't stand Iron Fist so much.
Ross, that is a stellar shot of your chest.
Well, I hit a posture check. I've got to keep my back straight, so that means my face is up here.
Well, you got the chest and the
Greg.
Riker beard going on. I mean, I consider that an absolute win.
There you go.
Well, that should wrap up our review. Anyone got any final thoughts?
It was a good episode.
All righty. Well,
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
pretty light week, but this week we did see our first trailer for Hawkeye. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Who has? What did you think?
I'll
good.
go first for this one. I absolutely loved it. Hawkeye is a Christmas show. Quote me on that. But Disney's learning action stuff makes good Christmas shows and movies. It is chock full of humor, heart. It is definitely going to crack some laughs. Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop is an absolute win. She's owning the role just in the trailers alone. Brandon and I were discussing that she'll give her thoughts, but we got very heavy, hard, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard vibes of this trailer.
Yes.
It was great.
So I was going to ask. You said this is a Christmas film. Is this because it's Die Hard just with the Marvel person?
Well, it's very
very
during
much.
Christmas in December. Yeah, it's very much got that theme going.
Okay.
Where where she's trying to help Hawkeye in a car. He's like, not that arrow, not this one. She shoots a van and it blows up the van. She goes, there's arrows more dangerous than that one. he just
I just love his face. He's like,
yes. Very, very much looking forward to the series. This one for me was behind Loki in anticipation. So Loki's my favorite so far. I'm pretty sure Hawkeye will take my second place. So I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
Sweet.
Being stared down.
Raina, how about you?
honestly, I'm so excited to finally get Kate Bishop into the show. Like, Kate Bishop is a great comic book character. If you guys don't know, she's fantastic. I was with Greg. I'm like, man, I feel like this is some serious fucking Die Hard vibes. Like I love this like buddy cop thing that he's got with this apprentice. It's like, no, don't use that arrow. That had me chuckling. Just straight up fires it and it just blows his van up like just nothing left. And it's like, there's arrows worse than this one. And his face is like,
Jeremy Renner is just absolutely
like
gold.
There's no one like. I feel like this is really a chance to do something fun with Hawkeye because he like once again another character that gets so shafted in the movies, and this one it looks like they like gave him like the funnest role ever to just play in this story. And well, we didn't really get much in the villains and stuff. I like how people are calling it the tracksuit gang. Because everyone's wearing tracksuits for no fucking reason except just because
It's a comic book reference.
Yeah, people are saying that it's a like that the Kingpin's gang runs with that. So I'm like I'm wondering like, you know, there's rumors that we're getting, you know, Daredevil and Spider-Man, you know, like I would really love to see them start pulling, like if you're not going to invest in them shows, start pulling them here.
Florence Pugh is in this also. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to be that dynamic is going to come into play real quick.
And like some of the funniest fucking Easter eggs that I saw in there is I love the Captain America musical, that they're going to.
Rogers, the musical.
Yeah. They had that. But honestly, like I really hope that they kind of touch on, you know, we think about what the Avengers each lost. Like, think about Hawkeye. He lost Romanoff. He basically lost S.H.I.E.L.D. He lost, like, he kind of lost everything up to this point. Like, lucky he has his family, and this dude would be like hanging from somewhere. No offense, but
he'd be Batman at this point.
Yeah, basically. But I kind of like that they bring up the stuff that he was doing as Ronin, as the Ronin. Like, I like that that's coming back to haunt him. I feel like because it was something they just kind of glanced over in Endgame, and I don't know. I feel like this is going to be something fun. And as someone that my favorite MCU show so far was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like I feel like this has like kind of like the humor of Loki, but also like the buddy cop shit from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I think it's like the best of both. Like I feel like it's going to be something really, really special. And during Christmas time is like the perfect time to sit with your family and watch Hawkeye just snipe people with arrows.
Yes.
And that makes it mix with Beverly Hills Cop or Lethal Weapon.
I'm telling you, serious Die Hard vibes.
Yes.
There's Die Hard too.
But yeah, I'm stoked for this one. Like, I'm very excited. Like, I liked Loki. I just feel like the ending kind of deflated me. Like, this is wonderful. I'm so excited.
Travis, tell me you've seen Die Hard, right?
No.
Oh, what the?
I've said this on the show before.
Oh, true story, guys. We were playing Jackbox on Travis's server, and my clue was Die Hard, and there was not a single motherfucker that could guess it. None of them had seen it. The greatest Christmas movie of all time.
Greatest Christmas movie, yes.
I'm sorry. I have to disagree. The greatest Christmas movie of all time is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, yeah, Son's got
Okay, yeah. I'll give you that one. I'll give you.
It's a great Halloween movie.
It pulls double duty.
Christmas movie of all time is MST3K riffing on Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
I have a deep love for Fred Claus as well. I felt like that was a fun fucking movie to watch when I saw it in theaters. I saw it on a dime, and it's great if you guys haven't seen it.
No, guys, the best Christmas movie of all time is Star Trek Generations.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Travis, did you see the Hawkeye trailer, and what did you think?
Dia with the Star Wars Christmas special.
I'd rather watch that than Generations.
Travis,
you'd rather watch the Star Wars holiday special than Generations? Are you crazy?
You can laugh. You can laugh and cringe at that. Like have the cringe laughter.
See, the
you
beautiful
can't do
thing
that
about
with Generations.
The beautiful thing about the Star Wars holiday special is that it's just so absurd that you have to laugh at it.
Yeah, but with Generations, it takes itself so goddamn seriously. Like when you laugh, you actually feel bad because the movie makes you feel bad for laughing at it.
Here we go. Here's the greatest Christmas special of all time. It hasn't been released yet. Guardians of the Galaxy next year.
Surprise, motherfucker!
I'm down for that.
Travis, right. The Hawkeye trailer. What'd you think?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Lane, what did you think?
So, who is excited for Hawkeye?
Oh, I am.
The people who've seen the trailer, obviously.
Ross, you're gonna love it when you see it.
This is why we can have nice things.
All right. Moving on to our next topic. Last week, we had a bit of a discussion about Marvel's decision to release the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in theaters only. And the article that was referenced questioned whether or not it was a wise move with the current climate of the country and the world at this point. Well, it seems those concerns were more or less unfounded, as for the second straight week in a row, so Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is #1 in the box office. Have you guys gone to see it yet?
No,
I have not.
I'm going to go see it tomorrow.
No.
The interesting thing is, this was literally what everyone was saying about Black Widow. Not that they were naysaying it. That you're literally releasing Black Widow And if you literally kept to her, the agreement you made with her about making it a box office only, you would still be seeing revenue right now simply because people are going to the theater just to go to the theater. Oh, it's a Marvel movie? Oh, cool. Let's go to the theater. Let's go to the theater.
I need to state this for you, Ross. This is not an impressive feat. And I keep saying this every week that we talk about this. Look at what it's up against. Cry Macho, Malignant, Free Guy, Candyman, Paw Patrol the movie, and fucking Jungle Cruise. Like, are you serious? If you don't win this, I'm going to be so sad.
Well,
okay,
it's not okay.
Hey, Paw Patrol movie has a very large and broad appeal.
Oh, don't you start with me on that bullshit.
But so here's the thing with Shang-Chi. I know we talked about when it was a couple weeks ago. We talked about it. I was one of those that said, okay, this might hurt the box office performance. Shouldn't hurt the quality of the film. And I'm glad to say we were all wrong. Shang-Chi is doing amazing in the box office. Yes, Raina, it's going up against crap movies, but the fact that it set a Labor Day record after the pandemic means that people are going to the theaters. But then these are people who are going to go see Shang-Chi. So this is one of those movies to get people back in theaters. The next one coming out is Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Is the next test of the box office.
I have a question. So which one of you have gone to the theater to see the new Candyman movie? Is it really that bad?
I haven't had the chance. I have a kid. I can't go to movies right now.
There you go.
My friend Brooke went to see it and he hated it, and he was like a big mega fan of the first one. So
it doesn't have Tony Todd in it. Confirmed is not in, like, just from reading the cast list and all. So that kind of turned me off.
I will say I went to see Old. That was the first movie I saw back after the pandemic, and let me save you guys $12. That movie's a piece of shit.
Whew.
Here
we go. Hydrate.
That movie's
M. Night Shyamalan,
you need to retire, my dude. Seriously.
I do hear Free Guy's pretty good, though.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Free Guys.
But with Shang-Chi, I would love to go see a movie in theaters as soon as I can figure out how to get my child watched for a few hours. But I mean, I'm glad to see Shang-Chi is doing good. What's gonna hurt?
The parenting 101, Greg.
What's gonna hurt Shang-Chi though is that if China does withhold its release because of comments Simu Liu made about them being a third world country, I'm like, okay, well, cancel culture in China is strong, so it may not get released there.
That's not cancel culture. That's government censorship.
Cancel culture.
And it's not. It's not going to really matter because they've already made a shit ton of money already. So
right.
I mean,
so they don't technically need China. I mean, if they wanted it to be close to $1 billion movie, then yes, China. But it's probably going to make close to $500 million. I want to say optimistic.
Just because China is with bootleg and saying no, they're going to turn around and probably make that in the U.S.
If it's government censorship, let's get our verbiage right. It's misinformation.
But I'm glad Shang-Chi's doing well. So we'll end up seeing it on Disney Plus when it comes out. But I am for sure 100%. Leia and I are making arrangements to get the kid watched to go see Dune in theaters.
And Ross, you have went vertical.
Phone trouble.
I will say that it obviously isn't gonna matter though, like with the Black Widow situation. I mean, in terms of lawsuit, yeah, but did you guys hear that they're already planning on putting Black Widow on Disney Plus free to watch in October?
Yeah, because it's already had a theater run also. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is that I feel like it's gonna. I feel like with Shang-Chi, like, not only was it not going against anything, like, I think people are looking for a reason to get back out there. I know I don't want to fucking be cooped up anymore. And if you're vaccinated, you should be out there just enjoying something.
And a Marvel movie on Labor Day weekend was a great recipe.
Fuck yeah. Like, that was perfect. And it was like the perfect timing post-pandemic, so.
But even I've been going out and about. I mean, after being cooped up for almost a year, you're just like, no, I got to get out, and I need to let Ross back in because he is back.
He's on his computer.
Trying to hurt his my!
I know I said this.
Trying to hurt you.
My phone died.
Well,
I love how Ross said the slow like build up, like he was like Vader or something, like coming out of the chair.
I was leaning over to plug my headphones back into my microphone.
I'm just saying, hey, don't argue with the logic. I just saw you kind of just turn up into the camera. I was like, oh man, this is a Vader move right here.
But I am going to say,
if only he had the little egg thing to sit in.
Do not what?
But we will see probably in the coming months. I want to say before Christmas, we will see this in the headlines. Scarlett Johansson and Disney reach undisclosed settlement to drop lawsuit. And I guarantee
100%.
that because Shang-Chi is helping her immensely, so I guarantee you it's going to be an undisclosed amount. It's closed door proceedings already now. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, they're going to give her probably $100 million. Like, okay, leave us alone now.
They're still running Scarlett Johansson ads.
No, at this point, because Shang-Chi is doing as well as it is, they're probably going to give her they're easily going to give her $500,000.
Yeah, I really do. And with Disney, it's pocket change to them. They're probably just gonna be like, Mickey, let her into the vault.
And those weird fucking headlines from last week about the ScarJo lawsuit hurt blank and blank's chances of doing whatever the hell. It's like, no, the fuck it didn't. And it doesn't hurt ScarJo being hired by Disney. That's literally on Disney, not any of the actors. That's Disney's fault for doing all this shit. And it's Disney's responsibility whether or not they want to hire again and work at, actually live up to their fucking contracts.
What it was that the Russo brothers, because of this lawsuit, are now rethinking doing a Marvel movie again. And my guess is that Marvel movie was Avengers 5 that they're now probably going to back out of.
Well, actually, you know what?
I don't blame them.
The Russos were working on Dungeons and Dragons. I think they had said like a year ago. They're like, yeah, we're fucking done making superhero movies. So I know they wanted to go on to like video game products and all kinds of shit. Like they just want to start making universes elsewhere.
Let Zack Snyder do Avengers 5.
Well, speaking of video game adaptations and tie-ins, we got some news about the Twisted Metal TV series.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Anthony Mackie is signed on to play John Doe, the driver of Roadkill. So that's our first major cast announcement for this TV series that is now being described as an action-packed dark comedy, which actually fits with the source material pretty well. Do any of you guys... Travis and Raina, you guys probably weren't alive or old enough to appreciate it yet.
I fucking love Twisted Metal. How dare you?
What do you mean not alive?
How dare you?
Ross, this is for you, buddy. This is for you because
I'm too tired for this.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
I mean, you got to remember
calm
the PlayStation. The PlayStation was literally the late 90s.
Yeah.
I will have you know
All right.
that is one of my favorite consoles of all time. I even bought this piece of shit just to prove it.
Nice. All right.
Sorry.
Then we can all talk about it. Do you so you very clearly loved Twisted Metal and the early PlayStation. Are you interested in this show?
Absolutely. And I think that it's one of those properties that we already had Death Race, which was kind of like Twisted Metal beta, like for the movie scene. Like I feel like they could really do something special. And like Twisted Metal has one of the most cool, like lore deep, surprisingly, like between their characters. Like they have some of the most interesting, dark, asylum-based characters outside of probably Alice Madness Returns. Like I'm just gonna say there is some dark shit in there, but it's like the character pool is so deep with their psyches and their motivations and what they're looking to get out of succeeding here. Like, I feel like you get a good cast in here, this is going to be good because they're doing a lot of this now. They're doing a Resident Evil live action TV show as well on top of it. So I was like, you got stories to tell. And Twisted Metal's one that it deserves something way long ago.
Let's see. The writing room is being headed by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. I'll have to look up, see what other stuff they've done. And the series will follow a motor-mouthed outsider who could earn a better life for himself, but only after delivering a mysterious package through a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Sweet. Transporter meets Mad Max.
Yeah, it definitely has a bit of a Mad Max vibe. And John Doe does drive an old Charger.
Probably
So
where Mad Max got the idea.
Other way around, Justin.
Mad Max was way before Twisted Metal.
Way before.
I don't even think you were alive for first Mad Max, Justin, or maybe you were.
I'm 40. No, I don't
Barely.
Think one, no, barely.
How about you, Travis?
I mean, I never played Twisted Metal. I was very late into the PlayStation game, so I really don't have much to say here.
Travis is more like Xbox original.
No, my first PlayStation. I mean, my first game console was a PlayStation 2, but I never played Twisted Metal.
Okay, Greg, how about you? Oh, Raina, you got something?
I just want to say that if Sony, because I know this is a Sony property, if you guys are making Twisted Metal movies, you guys teased it years ago. Where the fuck is my Sly Cooper movie? You guys teased it years ago. I remember. I was there. Okay.
Well, so far the only things that are being developed PlayStation related is the Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland, a Last of Us TV show for HBO, and a movie based on Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, and don't forget Sonic and Knuckles.
That's different.
Sega. That's Sega.
So Sony.
We're talking about PlayStation, not Sega.
Oh, the ones that were behind Zombieland and both Deadpool films are behind. Ooh, good stuff. Good picks. Zombieland is like the perfect outline. Actually, if you think about it, the structure of that film is perfect for Twisted Metal.
Man, I loved What If Zombieland.
Greg, are you interested in this show?
I highly am, yes. Both for Anthony Mackie getting the role and the fact that I did dabble in Twisted Metal a little bit, playing PlayStation at my friends' houses. One had N64, one had Xbox, one had PlayStation, so we just rotate our houses as kids. Twisted Metal was a lot of fun, so definitely looking forward to this. I mean, Anthony Mackie is just riding the wave right now. He is the new Captain America. He's coming off Altered Carbon, which was a little bit disappointing, but then now in Twisted Metal, so he's riding a high tide right now. I'm happy for him. He's doing good.
So I proposed a question then, Ross. Do you think that this is going to be, are we going to, now that we're getting out of the superhero phase, are we going to be going back into the video game phase? I mean, we just had Mortal Kombat come out.
Yeah.
And
there are a bunch of adaptations like the ones I just listed. I also came across an article that said Haley Atwell is going to be voicing Lara Croft in an animated Tomb Raider film for Netflix.
Captain Carter is Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that works for me. Here's the full blurb. Where'd it go?
Blurb is the word. I'm looking forward.
John Doe is a smart-ass milkman who talks as fast as he drives. Okay, here we go. About a motor-mouth outsider offered a chance at a better life, but only after he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. This is from Deadline. With the help of a trigger-happy car thief, he'll face savage murderers driving vehicles of destruction and other dangers of the open road, including a deranged clown who drives an all-too-familiar ice cream truck. Of course, Sweet Tooth is got to be in there. John Doe is a smart-ass milkman who talks as fast as he drives with no memory of his past. He gets a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make his wish of finding community come true, but only if he can survive the onslaught of savage vehicular combat.
This is sounding like Altered Carbon.
Guys, I need to add in here.
The executive producer is the guy behind Cobra Kai.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael Jonathan Smith.
What are you adding in right now?
Oh, wait a minute. Is it Cobra Kai coming up soon?
This is really big, actually.
December.
Oh.
So I was looking
I had
up.
hope.
I'm sorry, I keep cutting you guys off. I'm like kind of.
Go ahead, Raina.
Well,
it's the internet.
I was looking up.
Anyway.
I was looking up. What was going on with that Resident Evil live show, right? And the one about the Umbrella Corporation still coming to Netflix. But on top of that, we're getting a new movie on the 24th that is actually the actual live adaptations of Resident Evil 1 and 2, as in the games. And the photos look good. They got the costumes. They got the look, like, all right. Like, this looks really good. Like, I'm gonna actually share this with you guys. Like, the photos on set look good. Like, this is really nice, and they're faithful adaptations for once. None of that Mila Djokovic Hire My Wife movie set that we got.
It'll be really nice to
finally
to live in a world where video game adaptations are competent.
And the finally,
well, see, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. As much as the media and politicians and all that shit still hound that video games cause violence and and all this other random ass bullshit, like the study that just came out to basically say the same thing, but from a certain political perspective. The video game industry makes tons more fucking money than the movie industry has ever made. That's a provable monetary fact.
Okay.
And it's about time that both industries that both industries have to commingle, because they both have to exist.
Well, they actually are. It kind of seems like the line is getting blurred, because I know, like, a few years ago, GTA 5 got the world record for the most sold entertainment product ever. So, I mean, we're kind of blurring the lines already. Games are basically becoming pretty movie-like in grandeur alone. Like, I think I was watching the footage for Horizon Zero Dawn, the new one.
Yes.
That game looks like... I don't own a PlayStation. I haven't owned a PlayStation since, like, the beginning of the 4 era, and I sold mine right away. Like, this makes me want to get a PS5 when I see that.
But that also leans towards the point that, you know, we've talked about with Carlos on the show how, like, almost every movie that comes out from the film studios has to be like this big tentpole thing, and it's just kind of destroying the film industry. Well, that's also kind of a thing that's happening in the video game industry, where every video game has to be gangbusters like the first Call of Duty was. Otherwise it doesn't succeed.
I
blame
would say
society for that, though, not the studios.
Say,
that's the fans causing that. If we don't have the next best thing right away, fans revolt. That's on us.
I would actually disagree only slightly, because AAA scene has not become about grandeur. It's become about what can we push out fast and that will make a lot of money quick,
right?
Without any hard work. I think where the heart and passion is that's close to filmmaking is the goddamn indie scene. The last few years, especially, we have gotten some of the best games of all time that were all indie.
That's the same thing for the movie industry. A lot of the best films that have been coming out lately, aside from, like, what I consider Marvel trash, has been a whole bunch of indie stuff. I mean, I can't even remember the name of it, but, like, the James Cameron literally did that fucking Tuskegee Airmen movie. I think
Red Tails.
Yeah. And that, I mean, like, sure, you know the name James Cameron, but that's like not a major studio production.
There's a lot of cross-pollination between the film and video game industry as well, not just with adaptations. One of the most widely acclaimed game creators, Hideo Kojima, creator of the Metal Gear series and Death Stranding, he approaches game development like he's creating a film. He said that he wanted to be a filmmaker originally, and now I got to stretch. And his games show it.
Yeah, and in fact, I actually saw the documentary where they were talking about his life, and you know, it was funny because he's really a good sport about it, because he was talking about how he wrote his first film, and, like, the production companies are like, dude, get bent, you have, like, no talent. And it's funny that he's like, well, fuck this, I have all this money now, I'm just gonna make my own studio to make movies and games. So, like, fuck you guys. I feel like he's like the true crossover of that.
And now there's a Metal Gear Solid movie coming out.
I'm waiting for my Gears of War movie. I have been hyping Gears of War for a movie since Gears of War 3. And that's one of the movies. I got my Sonic adaptation. We're getting Uncharted. We're getting Metal Gear Solid. We're getting Resident Evil on Netflix. Like what looks like very well done Resident Evil. I want my Legend of Zelda, and I want my Gears of War movies now.
I want a movie of what Sun's playing.
Oh, you want a Command and Conquer movie?
I want a CNC movie.
I want a StarCraft movie.
Dude, we need a Metroid movie. We need a
Yeah,
Metroid movie.
Yes. Give us Metroid Prime 4 first, then give us a Metroid movie.
So this is where I acquire all the ire of the five of you all at once, and I'm
God.
okay with this. I honestly want a true sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie. Not a reboot of it. I literally want a sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I wonder if that kind of movie could be made.
I mean, we don't have the Twin Towers anymore, so that's not a major thing we have to worry about, right?
If they did Sonic, they can do a Super Mario movie.
Well, no, I mean, okay, the Super Mario Brothers movie was an example of absurdism.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the source material, interpreting it in the most literal possible way. And
in a real world way, taking it and applying it to the real world in a most true to form way possible to the game franchise itself, which, like, to be honest, is a fascinating thing that they were able to fucking do. But so many people just hate someone.
Honestly,
in that style could actually be made.
It could be. It could be.
I'm going to put a big theory out there. I think before we even get the idea of another Super Mario Brothers movie releasing, my money is on we'll fucking see a Fortnite film. I bet you 100% we will see that within the next 3 years. I'm calling it now.
No.
No,
I don't want it. Don't treat me like I want it. I'm just saying it's the
I hope you're
next
wrong.
fucking step.
So here's the interesting thing. They have to finish their fucking game first if they want to make a Fortnite movie.
No, I 100% agree. I know where Epic's mindset is. And that's going to be the next grand fucking thing that they go for. And it's going to be disastrous, like Emoji Movie level bad, I bet. Exactly.
Well, they're already screening. Well, they screened a movie in Minecraft, in Fortnite. I don't know if they've done it again since then, but they've done.
They had that disastrous team up with Time Magazine to do the Martin Luther King thing, and because of the contract. And because of the contractual obligation they had with the Catwoman film, people were able to go into the museum and continue using the whip emoji. And almost directly after that whole thing was over, the loading screen, as everybody was pushed out, was like, headshots do extra damage.
I just feel like
do not mix. That's one of them.
I don't think that we're ever going to see like a true Super Mario Brothers like absurdity like that. I think they'll touch on, if they're going to do it, they're going to do something animated. I think if you wanted to do something really grungy and weird like that, take Legend of Zelda, get the fucking directors from The Last Kingdom and just do that fucking show, because The Last Kingdom is fucking Legend of Zelda minus magic and monsters.
I mean, they're doing the Netflix series, supposedly.
Let Peter Jackson do Legend of Zelda.
I'm just saying, you know what? I don't like JJ, but you know what? Fucking sit him in a room for like 72 hours without food and water and just make him play fucking Metroid.
No. If we are doing a Metroid, it has to be Guillermo del Toro. It has to be.
All right. Let's move into our final.
Abrams, because we'll get freaking lens flares on everything.
Let's move into our final topic of the day. Sunseal, I do believe you have an update to the Actalist.
I do. So this is going to be interesting. We've not covered it in a couple of weeks, but we had some.
Hang on. I gotta get into form.
Oh,
okay. There we go.
Okay. So we had some interesting things discovered this week and reported on this week. two of which have been reported as being the same thing, but if you read the wording of the stuff, they are two separate things. So I'll get into the three things that happened this week. So mostly the beginning of this week, we found out that a whole bunch of data miners had suddenly stumbled upon a whole bunch of artwork having been changed in WoW. Artwork that has nothing to do with like all of the references they'd been removing to like developers and stuff from WoW. They'd been removing painting artwork and replacing it. One of them being a reference to a real world painting called Lounging Nude, I think it was. It's basically a Renaissance era painting that they kind of remade in WoW, right? Kind of like what they did with a zombie version of American Gothic. And it's been replaced.
It's a pinup.
Right. Basically. And it's been replaced by a bowl of fruit. I'm not even kidding. A Renaissance a Renaissance era painting that they referenced and they riffed on has now been replaced by a bowl of fruit. Another one of them is a painting of a noble woman, but it's like it's just like the robe. So you've got this really big, huge, like amount of cleavage, and then the exposed stomach and all that kind of stuff. And then that's been replaced by the proper nobility, like full gussied up, like chastity, what is that, corset thing, and then the robe. And it's like, are these the changes you were talking about, Blizzard? Are these like these paintings only exist in one fucking place in the entire game, and this is what you've been changing? Really, Blizzard? I mean, people are not going to even notice this in the first fucking place. Well, except for the data miners who found it. Well, yeah, because they're data miners.
I think
like that's how it was found in the first fucking place.
I'm just saying, I find it funny where it's like we're gonna commit to real change. Like we're gonna do this one area that barely anyone's gonna fucking notice while they're raiding or whatever. And you know what? How about just not hire fucking dickheads? How about that? How about make better rules in your company? Oh wait, you don't want to do that? You want to take down booba paintings and put fruit up? Are you fucking serious? Fuck off, Blizzard.
So the painting is called Reclining Nude, made famously by Renaissance master Titian.
Wow, how appropriate.
Titian. Nearly every famous painter after him has their own rendition of a reclining nude. It's almost a rite of passage. It's a pinup. It is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's
laying on her side, facing and the other one is a noble woman in a gown that has a very long neck that goes down below her navel, and has been replaced with a corset. So, and yeah, the pinup has been replaced by a still life of a.
If I remember correctly, Captain Picard did not do a great version of that painting.
So that was the first thing everybody discovered this week. The second one was we found out we had a coverage that the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, is investigating a complaint filed against Activision Blizzard, accusing the company of violating federal labor laws because of coercive rules, actions, and statements made by the company. This is where people seem to think these two things go together, but they don't because of the wording of it. The NLRB is investigating words. My bad.
Come on, son.
They're investigating a complaint that was filed with them. The Communication Workers of America, which is a labor union, has formally filed union labor practice charges against Activision Blizzard on behalf of the workers of Activision Blizzard and charging Activision Blizzard with intimidation and union busting.
Mm-hmm.
These are completely separate filings. They are in no way related to each other. But a lot of people are saying, a lot of people keep making this leap that they're the same filing. They're not. They're two separate filings. Now, I want to point out, because I've covered this before, these...
God damn it.
Fire alarm.
Yay!
Okay, sorry, Justin.
Mute your mic.
we were all ready for that one. These charges, the complaint that's being investigated and the charges that are being filed are filed after Bobby Kotick himself hired Wilmer Hale, which is a known union busting law firm that he's worked with before. And interestingly enough, we're now finding out that Fran Townsend has also worked with Wilmer Hale.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that seems like a major conflict of interest right there. Has hired that law firm to review the company's practices and policies, right? Just corporate bullshit for making sure all of our union busting stuff is still legal. It also comes on the heels of several employee leaked internal memos detailing that anyone wishing to speak to California's DFEH, the people who filed the lawsuit in the first place, must come to the management of Activision Blizzard before they speak to the DFEH. So the investigation and these charges that are being brought are, like right on the heels of these two things being pretty much known for a couple of weeks at this point. So not only do we have the lawsuit, we also have pending union busting litigation coming, and the federal government getting involved. So, like I said, Raina, you'll be happy about this. This is not only California stepping in. This is literally the federal government stepping in at this point.
About fucking time.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they were also caught shredding documents
That's true as well. And as much as I don't believe Activision Blizzard when they say, "Oh no, that's just normal practice for us." Yeah, sure, that's normal practice at a time where every bit of PR will be seen as suspicious.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just need to say that I love how people are already memeing this, because I just searched Blizzard news.
Yeah.
And on the image search right now, I love the fucking Captain America meme. So you got caught putting up a painting of a bowl of fruit. You screwed up.
The memes I've seen were along the lines of the latest Blizzard updates. Before was a character in their underwear, as you'd see them if they weren't wearing any clothes or armor. And the after is them in a burqa.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Blizzard, this is just getting ridiculous. And just so you guys know, if you didn't know, if you still wanted to support these pieces of shit, Diablo 2 Resurrected Edition is coming out this week.
Not gonna happen.
That project has had its own issues with censorship, where people are alleging that the developers intentionally made the Amazon ugly.
It's Diablo, they should have just left it alone. People like their Diablo with Diablo.
I mean, it's not even censorship at this point either. They're literally wholesale removing features they literally said would be in there, like the direct peer-to-peer connection stuff.
Oh my god!
Because of security concerns. No, it just means you literally can't have the people go through your network like you want.
They said and did the exact same thing with Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Mm-hmm.
That was a disgusting mess, honestly. I just
so that'll that'll about do it for that, right, son?
Okay, so I do want to make 2 points. If you see the picture, if you see the two paintings, obviously, the newer paintings are in a higher quality and resolution and all that kind of fancy stuff, so they look nicer. Sure, cool. The other two paintings, the reclining nude painting, was it was based on a Renaissance theme of power, right? That's what that one is. The other one, which a lot of people are like, okay, I can see them changing that. That was literally about the power of the woman who was in the painting. That's what that painting. I don't remember what painting that is, but there is a painting like that in real life, and it was about portraying the power of the woman because she was the queen at the time, and she was in all that she was as queen. She was able to do a painting like that because she had that much power, and nobody would revolt against her. So this is as much as this is a removal of sexuality or whatever the hell they want to say it is. You decided that the best course of action was to cover up a bunch of women. Okay, Blizzard.
Well, the second painting, it's not that bad. It's instead of having nothing underneath, she's got a fairly form-fitting corset. So it's still somewhat sexual, but not as much as it was.
Sure.
It's an overcorrection, is what it is.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's not even an overcorrection. It's the what least amount of work can we do to say that we did something.
Yeah. Oh,
hydrate. We put up a painting of a bowl of fruit. We did something. We did it good.
We removed sexuality by removing women. Okay.
All right.
Blizzard defrosted.
That will bring us to our final topic of the night. It's time for What Are We Watching? Let's lead in with you, Justin.
I'm watching a fire alarm.
We'll wait for the fire alarm to die out. Greg, how about you?
Well, remember, he can still talk to us through the little chat box thingy that he keeps using. He can literally tell us what he's been watching through the little chat box. Justin, get smart. And I don't mean watch the TV show.
But I mean, like, the people on Spotify, the two people who listen, they'll never know what he says.
Well, then we'll have to read it for them. But while we're waiting for Justin to get his typed out, Harper on
House.
Paramount Plus. Okay.
Harper House on Paramount Plus. Okay.
As far as I've been watching, basically it sounds like me, Justin, doing a Star Trek rewatch. I'm on about halfway done with TNG. He's working on DS9. Help a refresher. Of course, the obvious ones, What If and whatnot. I did finish Lucifer season 6, the series finale. Good Lord, you're gonna need tissues. Your wife, Ross, when you guys finish it, she's gonna need all the snuggles. She's gonna need tissues, blankets. They bring the heart heavy for this final season, and the series finale episode absolutely floored my fiance and I. Like, we were like, wow. And it was great considering that this won't spoil anything. So, but Lucifer ended. They did season 6 on a whim. The producers thought season 5 was the end. They're like, oh yeah, great, it's the end. And Netflix ordered a sixth and final season. Like, wait, what? The producer did an interview. The producer did an interview like a week ago. Like, yeah, we had no idea, so we just basically bullshitted season 6, and it worked. So I'm like, wow.
Welcome to being Michael J. Straczynski.
But here's this. This is all. I know you saw this in the trailer. So Lucifer and Chloe obviously have a new character in the show. She plays Lucifer's daughter, and she's very familiar. She is the woman who played Negasonic Teenage Warhead. It is Brianna Hildebrand.
Awesome.
So she absolutely did amazing in this role. And of course, everybody else, Dr. Linda, Menadil. It was a great way to end the series. I recommend it highly. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been watching, and enjoyed it. Watch this for fun. Yes, Justin. So me and Justin have finished season 6. So Ross, you're on the clock.
All right, Brayna, what you watch this week?
I have officially finished TNG. Yeah. As far as the show goes, I then watched Generations. I've watched.
She loved it.
Fuck that movie. I have watched 10 episodes of DS9, which I find DS9 150% more interesting than TNG.
Okay, so I have to ask this question now, and I know you're probably going to have to strain to remember it. What did you think of the episode Masks?
Oh,
you know what?
Oh God, yes.
So here's the funny thing. I actually texted Travis. I had a great time watching that episode. Yep. I thought it was fun and whimsical as hell. I was actually laughing when Data was going through like the voice changes, and he was just kind of like laying all sexually suggestive. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I love this episode.
So many people seem to hate that episode, and I don't know why, because it's so fucking fun.
Wrong image, Justin.
Wrong image.
I like Masks also the same reason Reina does. I mean, and it gave Brent Spiner a chance to really shine.
I will say with TNG, looking back now, I can give you my 3 favorites and my 3 least favorites of the show.
Yes.
My 3 favorites, Measure of a Man, A Matter of Honor, and I've got to give it to The Outcast. Like, that episode stuck with me for like days on end after, where I was thinking about it actively, and it's such
unlike some other people who were like, it's entirely possible Riker was going to bang a dude, and it's like, no, that whole thing was a trans allegory, you idiot.
Well, what's funny is I got so into that whole thing that I actually looked up, and it was supposed to be a gay-centric episode. And it's funny that it's more of a trans episode. I had said this before the show, if they had only knew how much that was going to be an impactful trans episode all these years later, as someone who has gone through a lot of that shit, like, it really resonated with me. The 3 least favorites are going to be.
If I may, Raina, real quick before Raina, I did get Raina to say this. She will give Justified the nod over Sub Rosa.
I
okay,
will.
Go ahead.
Outcast is everything that the cogenitor was not.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Justin, no.
What? No.
I find this I find The Outcast one of those ones where it was like, even the character of Soren herself was very interesting. I find I just found the whole episode, the society behind it. I found Riker's reaction where he was almost ready to throw it all away for the sake of love. It was a really deep episode. And but I think besides, like, of course, that was the episode that made me think the most, but the episode that I enjoyed the most was A Matter of Honor. That episode is fantastic, where Riker goes to serve on the Klingon ship. I thought that was really well played. I love where it's like, oh, you're not going to obey me, and he just beats the shit out of that Klingon to a certain dominance. Like, is like great.
That is Star Trek veteran
Raina was wet after that moment.
I was all dewy watching him kick a Klingon's ass. No, but my 3 least favorites of the
Here they come. They're wondering how you will endure. Endure what? Them. One or both.
One of my least favorites is going to be obvious, and that's Code of Honor. Fuck that episode so much. When I do a rewatch, I'm going to skip right over that fucking episode. I'm ignoring our little clip show finale because that shouldn't even count. It's
Shades of Grey. Okay, fair.
But I will say the other 2. My God, Sub Rosa is definitely one of them. I fucking cringed my way through that so much. And
I heard Sub Rosa.
Yeah, and
hold on.
Okay,
now it works.
And honestly, I'm gonna probably. Oh, it's hard because I feel like it's like I want to say Justice, but I've like excluded it. But Justice is just that bad that it has to be in the top 3. There's just no fucking way. Sub Rosa and Nat are just like fucking god awful. Like I feel like, though, like TNG, how I feel with it is it was good, but I feel like because I binged it so fast, it started to grate on me a little bit. By the time that I got towards the end, because the characters don't feel like themselves in the final season.
Yeah, you need at least 2 or 3 more rewatches for it to be burned into your mind. It takes a bit.
Now,
So here's the thing I want to say about masks. Now, because of the way we see masks, we see the episode completely different than what I'm going to say here. But I'm going to say this: Masks was Data's version of the Inner Light.
Mm.
I don't know.
That's a reach.
The only difference is we're seeing it from the outside instead of being with Picard in the Inner Light.
I think the only thing I have to add before we move on to the next person is DS9. I'm 10 episodes in and I haven't found a bad episode yet. I have not.
Oh, there's a couple.
I have not felt like, but I'm saying like in comparison to TNG, where it was like, oh, Justice, this sounds like an interesting premise for a fucking episode. Oh, Code of Honor, this sounds interesting. Like, it doesn't, like, DS9 is just interesting. The characters are just way more fascinating to me. And, dude, space slugs that use people as hosts, like, that is cool. I want to be a space slug. That is fucking awesome. I'm just going to say that right now.
They kind of touched on it in the Next Generation a little bit, but it didn't really go into detail until Deep Space Nine.
It was one episode. The episode where Riker gets the Trill symbiont.
Yep.
And
I bet Random wanted to be that slug in Riker.
I will say, as my final point, the funny thing with DS9 is my least favorite character when I started the show became my favorite so far. I hated Kira. I was like, I do not like her. I don't really resonate with her. She starts out really rough, but as she goes on, she's become my favorite. So
the first episode, I don't think that. I think like they didn't really know what way they're going to take her, and then they kind of eased up a little bit.
Well, no, they knew exactly how to play her because she plays like a real person. She's literally hot off the heels of being a fucking freedom fighter for however long she's been alive. The only way she knows how to the only thing she knows how to do is to fight to get what she wants. Is to, even if it's futile, the only thing she knows how to do is to keep pushing against people until something happens. That's literally why she goes over Cisco's head. It's like, the fuck are you doing?
Went through that episode. She's like, if you go over my head again, you'll regret it.
And you know what? This may be a hot take, but I like Cisco better than Picard.
So do I.
Most
okay, you'll start off liking Cisco, and then later on you'll be like, "What happened?"
I just kind of like that he just says whatever the fuck's on his mind. Like, he acts like he's better than everyone else there, and it's like he's doing what a leader should do. And it's like, look, I know what the fuck I'm talking about, and you're gonna respect that. Even with Q, it's like, I don't have time to play this diplomatic bullshit with you. I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
And it's the only time you ever see Q on Deep Space Nine.
Oh god.
Because he got his ass kicked.
Well, he didn't really fit on that show at all.
No, the one episode.
Yeah, he doesn't fit the aesthetic.
No, the real Q of Deep Space Nine is Dr. Bashir.
No, it's Garrick.
No. The real Q of Deep Space Nine is Dr. Bashir. Because I see Garrick doing a lot of mystery spy shit. It's literally Bashir who's doing all of the wondrous miracles.
Randy, you will actually grow to like Garrick a lot. Actually, a lot of people love Garrick from DS9, including myself.
And the show gets significantly better once Worf shows up.
Yes,
it's
I'm looking forward to
good
that.
in the early seasons, Ross. This is a show that is solid from seasons 1 to 7. If you are one of those people who thinks that DS9 is boring until season 4, I'm going to smack you. I am going to find you.
Hold on.
I will smack you.
Hold on.
I will not stop until you say otherwise.
Mommy?
And then I will keep smacking you for even thinking it in the first place.
Yep.
Stop it. Thank you.
I would I would like to point out that he never said it was bad until Worf shows up. He said it gets better when Worf shows up.
And I season 1 was good, but I mean, I find it typically boring up until.
I'm gonna smack you.
See, I could see. Okay, you like Discovery. I'll smack you till you say Discovery sucks. I mean,
you know what?
We'll play that game. But
I'm just gonna say, like, I haven't watched enough Trek to make those comparisons, but I will say that it is significantly in its short time is fucking more interesting than TNG.
No, they got their feet on the ground finally, so it took them 5 seasons.
That's the
with
benefit
TNG.
you had, is you had 2 shows before, and TNG kind of laid the groundwork. It was kind of like, this is what you do. Just don't do Justice and Sub Rosa, and you'll be fucking fine.
Well,
They
kind of remake Justice in the Voyager just
Anyway,
a little bit.
Just Alan Moraine, just throwing it out there.
Well, that wasn't too bad.
All right. Raina, anything else to add?
Well, I'm gonna try and knock out a season of DS9 for every podcast at a minimum, so I can kind of give you guys my feedback and my favorites, my least favorites there.
Good luck,
Looking
girl.
forward to it.
Alan Moraine, count to 3. Alan Moraine.
Thank you, Raina.
Somebody mute Justin.
Sunseal, what have you watched this week? Let's bring us back on track.
So, I finished watching the Bob Ross documentary and then promptly went and unsubscribed from the Bob Ross Twitch channel. Because fuck the Bob Ross company.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they if at this point I would literally like drag my family into giving me money to donate to the son of Ross to bring that lawsuit back up, period. Because dude was a teenager at the point that his uncle signed away his rights to the Bob Ross name and shit. He literally should have had a say. He was of legal age to have a say. And he wasn't. He had no, he had no say in those rights being signed over at all. And that's infuriating. Because, watching that documentary, those two, they should never have been able to get Bob Ross's identity and name and ability to sell all the shit that they're selling right now in Bob Ross's likeness. Not to mention, that lady went out of her way to copy another person's work, plagiarized an entire other fucking artist in a book, and then destroyed that artist's career. That's some next level shady shit. And I will never support the Bob Ross company ever again. I won't. I watch the shows when they're on public access. If they still come on public access, I'm not going to subscribe to the Twitch channel. I'm not going to watch the Twitch channel anymore. So, fuck that company.
It's a very tragic story for sure.
So that's what I watched this week, and I'm really glad I brought down. I'm really glad I brought down the tenor of the show, because holy crap, we were arguing about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, we're nerds. We're geeks. We do it. Anything else?
I'm still rewatching not Deep Space Nine. I'm rewatching Voyager. You can say all you want. Voyager was literally the next series I watched after literally growing up, spending nights at 10 o'clock at night at a daycare center after school watching The Next Generation because it was on syndication, and that's when it was on. So I grew up literally watching The Next Generation. No shit. And then the next Star Trek Voyager that I watched, the next Star Trek series that I watched from start to finish, the only series that I watched start to finish as a kid was Voyager. I love it. Even the cringy ass episodes, I love it. So I've been rewatching that because that goes away on the 30th. Ugh.
All right. Thank you, son. Travis, what have you been watching this week?
Disney Roulette.
Yes.
This week on Disney Roulette.
Yes. Finally.
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
Like no, it's not an uh-oh. It was an interesting one this time. We pulled the Disney Channel movie The 13th Year.
Oh,
that is such a good movie.
It
That
is
is
a good
such a
one.
good movie.
I remember watching it back in the day when it first aired. We were in a hotel, and I'm not proud with what I'm about to say. We caught it after we watched, I believe, a live concert of the Backstreet Boys. Because
there's no shame in that.
Hey, it was the 90s.
There's no
Yeah,
shame
it
in
was the
admitting you were a
90s,
90s kid.
And I was very much into the Backstreet Boys back in the day when I was
Backstreet's back, all right.
Little kid me. But after that, this movie called The 13th Year aired, and there was nothing else really going on, so we just kind of watched it, and I remember enjoying it as a kid. Watching it now, I mean, it's still a very fun movie. Like, we were enjoying ourselves. There is no way that this was like, oh god, this movie. Like, this was not like Jungle Book 2 or Pete's Dragon remake levels of bad.
The Disney Channel movies were actually pretty decent for being Disney Channel movies. Like all of them.
On the TV stuff, yeah.
It's
I can agree with that.
Charmingly dated, but in the
Mhm.
same way, like, you can tell, like, it's kind of painful how dated it is. Like, when you watch this movie, you are quickly reminded that in the 90s, it was not cool to be a nerd.
Yep.
There's a character in this movie who is a nerd, and he just constantly berates himself because he's a nerd. Like, oh, I don't have friends, you know, like, it's not cool. Like, it's not cool for someone like you to hang out with someone like me. And it's just like, oh God, Disney. Fuck you.
May we never have a Trek moment where we go back in time to the 90s because we'd all be getting beaten up.
then they redeemed themselves with Smart House.
Oh God!
I will say the 13th Year.
Smart House is a really decent movie. It's really good, and I love it. It's so cheesy, but I love the hell of it.
I'm gonna actually go back and watch it tomorrow. As someone who's a sucker for mermaid related stuff, like that stuff is really cool to me.
The parents of that kid are also like really, 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 really weird. There's a lot of weird characters in this movie. It was very fun to just kind of poke fun at it while we were, you know, watching it and everything. But like, as much as we were heckling it and tearing it apart and whatnot, like, we did have legit fun. It was definitely a good pull. You know, just charming, dated, silly fun. And it was a good, like, I'm happy we watched it. Outside that, you know,
the Xenon trilogy, Smart House, the 13th Year, and Luck of the Irish.
Halloween Town
are my suggestions.
Oh, Halloween Town is good.
I can't stand the Halloween Town series like thing. I can't stand it.
Look at the Irish.
I gave Ross
so
a migraine.
cringe.
That's why I love it. It's so fucking cringe.
That's the you see, that's the beauty of Disney Roulette.
It's okay, Ross.
You have to put in good and bad because that's what roulette is. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes
you get shot in the head.
Dude in ghoulish leprechaun makeup playing basketball.
Could be worse.
That sounds
as somebody who's half Irish, that is pretty
interesting
bad.
than Pete's Dragon. But
look, there was an actual Leprechaun, the horror movie, all about fucking basketball. So don't even get me started.
You're right. There was.
Outside
Get
that,
these boys a puck of spuds.
outside
No,
that,
no.
outside that, I've been watching DS9 with Ray because
Star Trek.
like
Why not?
this is, I mean, like it's one of those like this is DS9 is my Star Trek show. Like it is the show that I will go completely fanboy defense over. Like no shame in it. And so like I want to experience it with her in that way. Like I am super excited that you are experiencing it for the first time finally, and like I am just like waiting for like each twist or each like bombshell to drop, because again it's a very, very different approach than what Next Generation did. But I'm
Get
also
introduced to serialized storytelling in Deep Space Nine, which I think you'll like.
I would like to join you both for a single episode. And I know, Travis, you're probably going to roll your eyes. I want to see Raina's reaction to Prophet and Lace.
Oh God, that's not bad.
Well, I have mixed feelings on that episode, but outside that, I'm still continuing my underrated episodes countdown. Slowly but surely, we just reached number 14 with one of my absolute favorite episodes of Voyager, actually. One that is criminally no one ever talks about this episode, and they need to. 30 Days.
Yeah,
we talked about today, and it's an episode that like I really appreciate for, being one of the rare episodes of Voyager to actually have long-lasting consequences and ramifications. Like, Paris's demotion to ensign lasts a good chunk of the show, if I remember.
Wasn't that about the time that they actually started doing, long-form story plots? I mean, yeah, they had the voyage home, but they always seem to hit reset buttons every single show on
They never
everybody.
really did the long term.
They
never
in
had
Voyager.
long story arcs. This was just kind of a thing that they did that spread out. But I mean, 30 Days also touches with me personally because with it being focused on a planet that is basically a global ocean and touching themes along the lines of how this one race's mining operations are destroying the oceans and everything like that. Like, I'm a guy who is very, very passionate about cleaning our oceans and preserving them, and I can get very I wrote an entire thing today about just how this episode speaks to me and what it means to me personally. I very much relate with Paris a lot in this episode, in a few ways, in some more subtle ways and whatnot, but yeah, if you haven't seen 30 Days in a while, it's one I would definitely recommend going back and rewatching it. I feel that this is one of the few episodes of Voyager that has become more and more and more relevant with the passing of time, especially with things like climate change and our own problems with ocean pollution right now. And yeah, this is one I'm pretty passionate about, and it's criminal that absolutely no one talks about it when talking about the best episodes of Voyager.
Because everyone
Very cool.
bashes Voyager.
Thank you, Travis. As for me, I haven't had a great deal of time to do much of anything, much less watch. But my wife was able to make some time for us to sit down, and we've been rewatching the Divergent series as she is rereading the books. We watched Insurgents. We watched Insurgents this week, and it was an interesting show. I've got a lot of problems with speculative governments that organize themselves in a form of a caste system, which is what the faction system is. And I additionally have a problem with societies that base themselves around on like-minded or like-tempered people are grouped together in segmented and rigid organizations that only have the bare minimum of interaction. And it stifles thought. It doesn't present any major challenges to these societies to help them grow and change and evolve. And as we see with the Insurgent series, the idea of anyone who doesn't fit neatly into the boxes that we set up for each other, then they are anathema. They are wrong. They need to be purged, which is the source of the conflict in this series. Although the woman initiating the conflict doesn't give any real good reasons why the divergence or any kind of real threat. She just says they're a threat, and anyone caught harming them is an enemy. And that's all there is to it. I'm curious to see where the series goes for the third installment. But it was enjoyable. What other time I've had has been spent painting and watching 40K battle reports now that I'm actually playing that game again. And this week I completed a few of these. This is a Necron Destroyer.
Ooh. Very nice.
They have embraced nihilism, seeing all life as pointless, meaningless, and is just needs to be destroyed because everything's going to die anyway.
Kind of like Star Trek Online.
Nothing like Star Trek Online.
I'm kidding.
This one's my favorite. Its pose makes it looks kind of reflective of the monster it's become over the eons of existence.
Why does it look like a Fallout Sentry bot?
It does, don't it?
Kinda. Well, he's got this big old badonkadonk on the back end.
But he looks like a Fallout Sentry bot, just with a beetle shell on the
big
back.
butt, yeah.
No, they're all the Necrons are all robotic skeletons. Here, let's get a little more light in there.
Eventually, you end up all robots end up starting to look alike. Once it's inevitable.
And this one with the really big gun is a heavy destroyer. I'm currently in a crusade.
I would blow you up.
I'm currently in a crusade. I'm currently in a Crusade League, which is a narrative form of play for Warhammer 40K, where each battle continues the story of your army, and as you do more battles, it grows in power. You're able to recruit more units into your army. It just gets bigger and bigger over time, and I'm having a lot of fun with them. And yes, dear, Oaks is the best because they's the most fun. They love stomping and crumping and shooting stuff. Ain't nothing as good as a good.
Rocket. Did someone say Rocket Stone?
I'd say praise.
Somebody say Rock and Stone.
Oh, that's Deep Rock Galactic thing.
You said orcs. Orcs.
So I'd say praise Mork and
No,
Mindy.
I'm talking space orcs. So that's what I've been up to this week.
I would have blown you up for those miniature segments, but your internet would have probably been able to handle that. So we'll just keep you a minute.
Well, I mean,
for the time being.
His internet's already not handling
I'll post into the Facebook.
Oh God!
I'll post into the Facebook group later. I'll do a whole showcase of what I got, and if interested, I could always write up a battle report of some of the games I've played.
There you go.
All right. Well, that will bring a close to What Are We Watching? Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Let's get into the engagement stuff. Wherever you're watching us, like, subscribe, vote, rate, what have you, whatever feeds the algorithm gods. Ooh, Blood Angels, nice. Watch out for the Black Rage. You must appease the machine for us to be seen by the many eyes of the internet.
Oh no.
Justin, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv Commander Zepper. And starting next week, I'll be airing Super podcast on my channel as well.
How about you, Greg?
Twitch.tv/mongoose gaming88. I have reached affiliate status with Twitch, so come check me out.
Congratulations.
Faster than I did.
Raina, how about you?
Twitch.tv/RainaWolf.
Son?
Twitch.tv/Sunseal. And I'm still trying to chuck people at you, Raina. They just decide not to go.
It's okay. I'm still trying.
Travis and Lane.
Walking down the street, shouting at nobody.
That's not true. That's not true. I know your Twitch channel because I watch it all the time.
And if you're us on Twitch, you're already in the right place. Twitch.tv/live_love_play. Thank you all for watching us tonight. It is the highlight of our week, and we are more than happy to have you here. Remember, until next time, to live, to love, and to play a little bit every day. Son, if you would.
And remember, everyone, you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
Justin, play us
And
out.
remember, we're not doing Florida Man, right? We doing Florida Man?
Ross froze.
Hey, are we doing Florida Man or not being as?
I don't know.
I'm kind of done.
All right. Well, everybody, we will see you next week. And Brenda, make sure you get over on YouTube or follow somebody on Twitch, because next week we will not be broadcasting on Facebook, but we will be on Twitch and YouTube.
Wow, that was quick, Ross. Bye. Yeah, Justin.
More Ross.
If we can work that out, I can
Bye,
stream from my.
Travis.
See you, Travis. Bye,
Bye,
Raina. Have a
Raina.
good night. I was gonna say, Justin.